You stole mine.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy, Joey Dang Options. And I was flexing because I'm gonna be flexing after this push-up challenge. Now I'm playing, of course. Welcome to everybody. What a great day it has been so far, guys. If you haven't been with us since yesterday, we hit that 500,000 mark, and today it's really exploding. I'm looking at the user count. We're already 1,134 above that level. We could not be more pumped. Obviously, thank you to you guys. Let's do the shout outs. Everybody over here. All right, who do we got here? We got Jeremy Newman. We got Bax. We also got Rob Jenkins. We got Ayo Lewis. Siesta Mike. You can't be taking siestas while we're trading, bro. You get punched out of your position. We got Evan. We got Angry Bear. We got Wakil. We got Vecna. And we have Fluff Nugget. Shout out to Nessa. We got Ray David. We got Sif. We got Vivek. Ramaswamy, is that you? I'm playing. Chandra. We got Nakul. 2 New York cents. We got Guap. 10. Who else we got over here? We got John and Jalecki, one of your boys over there, it looks like. We got Dan. I don't know, he's Italian, that's what it means. So we got Willie Mack. We got Northwest Sasquatch as opposed to the Southeast Yeti. Real ones will get that. T-Dot, we got FC, we got Ray David, Nathaniel Morris, shout out to who else? We got your Huckleberry, Scalping, like that name. We got Matthew Cabral, one of the OGs there, Mr. Floppy Cakes. Whatever. Crazy Carl, Joseph, Scott J, we got Carlo. We got who else over here? Retro Stocks, like that one. We got Osama. We got Joe, believe it or not. Brian, we got Brand, Josie, Khalid A, couple more. Crazy Carl, I like that one. And then Kirk D. Peace back at you, brother. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. A bit of a nervous one to start the day. Obviously, CPI coming a little bit higher than expected. Tanking these markets. We were down over 1% there. Joseph, big recovery on the NQ specifically. The Russell still reeling though. Keep your eye on IWM, the Russell 2000, Joseph, because these small caps, they get more affected by interest rates.
Still down 10% off those all-time highs, Sharif.
Yes,
so
sir.
We know that it's interest rate sensitive.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, hey, looking for value? Maybe not right now. But again, when there's blood in the streets, folks, maybe that's a good time to buy. Is that the case for multiple stocks? I think it might be for Google. We're just going to wait for things to turn around here. And then we're going to look to play some potential longer-term or medium-term trades with Google. But also Bitcoin, at the lows here, creeping towards that 92,000, has had the inability to recover like the rest of the market here, guys, and is really, really sensitive. So we got to figure out what's going on with that. But we got a lot of big names, a lot of strong names, Sharif. I know you have a lesson today, so we're going to hop into some of the top-performing sectors right now. So in first place, guys, we have the healthcare sector up about 0.25% here. Consumer staples sitting in second. And then consumer discretionary sitting in third place there, guys, down about 0.25%. Sorry, and consumer staples is down about 0.2, okay? So let's go from third last. The tech sector, surprisingly, in third last, down about 0.7 here, Sharif. I mean, CPI print really weak, dragging a lot of these big names down, but the recovery it's immense. It's starting to work out here. I think we need NVDA to kind of pick up the steam, and then I think we can go positive on the session. Second last, we got the industrials. Oh, whoa, we just got a big flip here. Second last, we got the industrials, and then real estate in dead last, down about 1.2%, Sharif.
That's a shame. All right, let's get to work, Joseph. I think it was a good time to talk about short squeezes yesterday because we saw AIFF really take a move up. It's back in play again today. AIFF, I'm talking about. It's up 50%, dancing with that 12.5. I'll submit to you, this has been one hell of a short squeeze. So let's talk about it. So short borrow fees are a secret weapon, believe it or not, for traders in heavily shorted stocks. This lesson will equip you to understand and leverage these fees to potentially make informed decisions in your trading. You'll know what I mean in a second. Let's talk about shorting just as at a very high level. So before diving into fees, let's recap what short selling is because we always have newer viewers coming in. So a trader borrows shares from a broker and then sells them hoping the price will drop, right? And then he later, or she later, repurchases them at a lower price and then gives them back to the broker. Okay? The profit in this case, in this transaction, comes from the difference between the selling and the repurchase price. As I gave the example yesterday, I buy a stock at $150. It later drops to $100. I go back and I buy that same share that I borrowed for $150. I buy it back at $100 and I give it back to the owner. In this case, it's going to be your broker, and I pocket the $50. That's how short selling is done. That's how you make money from short selling. And this is kind of what we're looking at here. This is the basically the amount of available shorts. You can hedge with options contracts, obviously, and then you can catch the peaks and then the scalp reversions. That's kind of what we're looking at there. So the fee factor. How does the fee factor play into this whole scenario? So borrowing shares usually isn't free. Sometimes they're free on your platform, but sometimes it's not, especially, you know, when you really want to get those shares and there's a lot of demand for those shares. You're probably going to have to ante up. All right. So short sellers, they incur a fee, the borrow fee, typically expressed as an authorized percentage rate. Okay. This fee charged by the broker who locates the borrowed shares and then lets you borrow them. So if you have shares with your broker that are fully paid, not bought on margin, that are fully paid, you can tell your broker, hey, you can loan out my shares to Joe Schmo for short selling. And then you get a fee back from your broker for having lent out those shares. So your broker acts as a middle agent, pairing people with fully paid shares with those who actually want to borrow the shares to short, okay? Unless you're obviously on a prop floor like ours where the system is different. We're talking about the retail trader now, okay? So that's what we talk about when we say the borrow fee. So why monitor short borrow fees? How's that going to help you in your trading? So short borrow fees offer valuable insights for traders. Number one, they gauge demand. They act as a demand gauge. High borrow fees typically indicate strong demand for shares to short a stock. So this suggests to you significant bearish sentiment with respect to that name, potentially foreshadowing a short squeeze. What's going on over here, bro? Ram's talking up a storm on my wall. All right, this suggests significant bearish sentiment, potentially foreshadowing a short squeeze if the price starts rising, okay? And then the cost of the squeeze. So high fees make it expensive for short sellers to maintain their positions. You have to pay, well, it depends really how your brokerage is. There can be a daily fee expressed as a percentage. It can be weekly, monthly, whatever the situation is. You're having to pay the longer you hold. You have to even pay more the longer you hold your short position. So if the price goes up, they may be forced, people who are short, may be forced to buy back the shares at a loss, further fueling that short squeeze that we keep seeing. And then there's the potential squeeze easing, right? So a sudden drop in the borrow fees might indicate to you as a trader that there's increased share availability. Well, this could signal a weakening squeeze as short sellers find it easier to cover their positions. So the whole point of this little spiel is to tell you that when it's hard to borrow shares for short, and that the fees are high, that usually means that there's excessive bearish sentiment. So you don't even need to be short a stock in order to use this information, right? Because what if you're long the stock at some very close level? It might be interesting for you, or might be feasible for you in that case to liquidate your positions. Or you can take the option side of things. You don't have to go, and Joey Options can get into this in a second. If I know that the fees are very high to borrow a stock and the demand for it's also very high because I can't get my hands on any, well, I can start looking at some shorter dated puts. And I can go through the options market. So you don't need to be short a stock in order to use this information to help you out. So finding the fees, how the hell do you find it? What are we doing here? So short borrow fee data isn't readily available on most stock quote websites. Here are some resources though. Financial data providers, services like S3 Partners, or IHS Market offer real-time and historical short borrow data, short borrow fee data, I'll get it right, for subscription. So you gotta ante up to these providers here in order to get all their information. You can get it off some fintech platforms though. So some trading platforms with advanced features might display the borrow fee data for stocks on their watch list. And last but not least, the brokerage firms, the one that the people that we have most exposure to, okay? Some brokers, particularly those catering to active traders, might provide borrow fee information to their clients. I know with my brokerage, it'll tell me. If Joseph and I have the same brokerage, it'll be like, okay, the amount of shares available are 5 million for short, or we could see 0, right? So that kind of thing, you know, you might have to pay for, or it could be offered to free. It really depends on your brokerage and the selected plan that you have. So how do you use the data, right? So don't view borrow fee in isolation, right? Here's how to integrate them into your trading strategy. First and foremost, combine with short interest. So you want to look at the borrow fees in conjunction with the percentage of the float that's actually being borrowed for short. So high borrow fees alongside a high short interest paint a stronger picture of a potential short squeeze. So that's number one. Number two, you can track fee changes. This is super interesting. So you're looking here, you're monitoring sudden spikes or drops in the borrow fees over time to identify potential turning points in a short squeeze. If a month ago, it would have cost you, let's say 25 percentage points, I'm just throwing any number out there, 25 percentage points for a month to borrow ABC shares for short, and now it's costing you 10%. Well, what does that say to you? That means demand is down. Okay, if demand is down, that there aren't that many eyes or that many traders that are interested in borrowing this stock for short at the moment. So that should mean something to you. That should be another piece of the puzzle that you can try to fit in there. And you should also be considering other factors, obviously, right? Don't rely solely on fees. Analyze the stock's fundamentals, news catalysts, obviously, and overall market sentiment. And as always, when we're talking about shorting, I got to throw a word of caution at you guys. Borrow fees are dynamic. Fees can fluctuate rapidly based on the intricacies of supply and demand, and it's not a guarantee. High borrow fees don't guarantee a short squeeze. I don't want anyone thinking that. Other factors can influence the stock price, no question about it. And then focus on risk management, as we always say. If you want to be a day trader, you got to have an account to day trade. The only way to have an account is to not to blow it up, right? So short squeezes, by definition, by their nature, can be quite volatile. Always have a stop loss in order, I should say, to place a limit on your potential losses. Having said that, I hope everybody brings up several storms, Joseph Wilson.
Hey, yeah, good lesson there, Sharif, on the shorts. Yeah, guys, that's what these guys do. So, I mean, that alternative that you pointed out was fantastic. I like that as well. If you're not looking to just go short shares, then you can always do contracts, shorter dated contracts as well, too. It depends on your broker as well, because some I shouldn't have said that, but anyways,
whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Some brokers are relatively cheaper than the other, right? So ours isn't too bad. But again, those options contract fees can definitely get up there. So just be wary of that as well, too, guys. So, but yeah, anyways, let's see what we got cooking up today. We're starting to form somewhat of a wedge on INTC. We're looking to see if we can break through this with some momentum to the top side. I mean, it's been strong the past couple days. Hoping for this to continue. We are forming higher lows, which is really, really important with a flat top. Looking to break this, but then also NVDA forming a wedge as well, guys. But the thing is, though, it's a downside, it seems to be the case, with the flat being the support system. So we tried an attempt at the breakout and the continuation of strength, but this thing's been green about 4 or 5 days in a row, Sharif. So breath in this stock is definitely warranted, and we're not going to get too worried about it. So we'll maybe add to this position at any form of dip, which it seems to be the case today. So maybe we'll look to add a little bit on that one. But other than that, guys, let's see what we got going on for volume and seeing what stocks are performing the best here, or putting in the most volume, I should say. So TSLA, surprisingly, is in fourth. Okay, I thought it was in first. Everything just switched up. So SMCI with 100 million shares traded already today. So that is a hefty amount. INTC, 75 million, and then NVDA in third place today with 67.9 million. So the volume is there. We know CPI came in a little bit hot. Market somewhat recovering, gaining a lot of that ground that it lost earlier in the morning, and Tesla really strong as well. So one thing that I kind of want to point out here, and I've done it before with just stronger stocks, we know kind of the overall sentiment in this name. But when CPI sold off and Tesla held VWAP in the pre-market, this gives me a signal identifying, hey, we might be strong on the session because it's not participating with the broader market. You've seen a lot of these big names start to sell, and then when an individual stock that you may be looking at is holding some key levels, that might signify some possible strength coming at the open, and that's exactly what was displayed here in Tesla in that opening drive. Extremely, extremely strong throughout the whole day. What else?
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Great question from New York Cent. So it's talking about fees, borrowing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's like, these apply to options as well. So my answer to him was, it'll apply vis-a-vis the premiums that are charged. Is that correct? Or is there another fee that's charged when you want to go short on
it's just so just like long contracts, it's just a basic fee, right?
Okay.
So yeah, they're usually relatively all the same.
Gotcha.
You pay like $3 or something along those lines for what our brokerage, which isn't horrible. I mean, if you think about it from a leverage perspective, you're paying $3 to own the rights of something, so again, they are a little bit more hefty. But again, I think our broker is reasonably priced. Other names, we're not going to speak of them, are like $10 a transaction and something along those lines, which is almost like, okay, you need this to work because you'll just get riddled by fees at some point. But yeah, relatively cheap. There's no additional fees on that. Again, if you want to get a little deeper into that, if you get assigned, there might be assignment fees, Sharif, right? So if you're holding a short contract past that strike price, then you might get assignment fees from your broker, plus some shares in your account that you may not necessarily want as well too, right? So just take that into consideration. There's always hidden fees somewhere, but the broad aspect of it is that you're paying a fixed rate for X amount of contracts that you buy. But just going back to what we were talking about here in relative strength, Tesla was strong this morning, Sharif. The rest of the market was selling off, and it seems to be holding up here early in the session.
All right, I just got into AIFF at VWAP, and it just absolutely dropped. So I lost 10 pennies, quick as you like, Neil, on AIFF. This was a descending wedge. I tried to get in at VWAP, thinking maybe I'd be able to scalp a couple of shekels. Little did I know that this one was on the way down. We give up VWAP, we give up 12. Now what I see on my side charts over here is we're holding at the 50. The 50 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. That's around 11.25. Not a level and not an indicator that I typically use as a retracement level to pick these small cap gappers off. But if it shows me that it's going to be defending that level, then I'll have to respect it. And what I see here is there was respect, believe it or not, between price action and the 50 exponential in the pre-market. I'm looking at that 8:10 a.m. area to when we really got off the schneid there at around 9:15, give or take. But it's really selling off aggressively right now. AIFF, it's still up 41, 39%, zigging and zagging right now. So this is, we're going to go 0 for 1 on the day. And quite frankly, we're out of the money on this current trade. We're about 15 pennies out of the money on CVS. CVS, I'm into this stock again for the same reason that I got into AIFF, a VWAP pullback. Now, this is an earnings name. CVS, we're up 13.5% on much better expected report. I'll get to that in a second. Because this is kind of like what my family does. And so I'll have some commentary here aside from trading that I want to make about the nature of this business. But CVS at the volume weighted average price, I'm only giving it to a third. VWAP is on my chart is 62.60. We're printing 62.50. We've got 3 candles of bless you, Neil. We've got 3 candles of indecision right now at this VWAP area, all doji candles with very tight ranges from the high and the low. That's the good news. The bad news is each of those 3 candles on the 5-minute is a lower low and a lower high. So we could give up the ghost here. I mean, we could see ourselves really dropping. So keeping my eye on a CVS. I've also got a bunch of other ones that I want to talk about. Here they come. We're going to bring in the side chart and discuss these bad boys. So AIFF trying to work its way back above 12 and above VWAP. Let's see if that happens. But there's also this monster, KDLY. What is this up? 113 some odd percent. Great look. Now, this one is a bit of trouble. Okay? And why do I say trouble? Because the range per candle on KDLY is quite wide. that's the rule. The exception is a tight range. Like if you look at most of these candles, most of them are characterized by their high wicks and low and wide lower wicks. I don't know why I couldn't speak there, but the whole point is that you're going to have to account for that wide range per candle when you're placing your stop losses, as well as where you're getting in and where you're taking profit. When you have wide range per candles like that, don't have a tight stop unless you're really in at the perfect technical support level, because likely you'll get stopped out. So KDLY, it's a monster and it's a respectable one coming into a previous area of resistance. I'm talking about this $3 area, but we'll keep an eye out on that. Now, what's the situation here? LTBR. What another good look here on LTBR. This is one hell of a bull flag here. Not up as much as KDLY, but a very respectable move. Very respectful as well of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. It's gotten up into that $14 area, and I perceive us to be doing maybe a little bit of a bull flag here. So we'll keep tabs on that one. Look for a bit of a better entry. I've also got CFLT, another good looking chart right now. I mean, up and to the right this goes. It comes into VWAP here. It's defending VWAP quite well. It only had one quick, it didn't even touch VWAP. It glanced by it, and then it moved right back up. So the high of the day, I believe, allow me a second over here, $36.50. We're at that level right now, printing 46s. So there's a lot to watch over here. Okay, we're doing a little well now on your friend, what's it called, CVS. So we're gonna we're gonna wet our beak here, maybe mid 80s, and let's start layering some orders for this bad boy if it is to catch a bit of a bid. So I'd like to put some in the 90s as well over here. So we'll see what we get, and we will not get upset. So that's the look right now. I have others as well. I've got, ones that I can't fit on the other side chart. EH, great looking name as well. Not much percentage-wise, 20, almost 21%. But again, pulls into a predictable area of support, that 24 2/3, 24.5. It bottoms there, and now we're knocking the door of 25 again. So I perceive here this to be the initial bull flag, and we'll have to see if this is like a stunted bull flag over here, and it didn't get quite as high or quite as up as the previous one. So EH also on watch. So lots to talk about today. XLO's breaking down, not really my cup of tea. UPST, an earnings winner, up 30%. We're off the highs though, and we're not respecting VWAP. So I don't want to base any trades off VWAP on Upstart, but we'll see if this one wants to run. And as I mentioned, CVS, good name today. We're involved in that bad boy right now. We just got the second print. Okay, so now we're going to wait for that third. Appreciate you, Joseph. Waiting for that. Oh, we got 3 prints so far. Now we're waiting for the 4th in the mid 90s. So let's layer the orders now. We're going to put some above 63. I'm going to hang out at 05s. Come what may. Joseph Wilson, what are you looking at?
Yeah, let's go here, Sharif. We got something cooking up here in INTC. Took a little bit of a loss there on, I tried IBIT. I'll pull it up for you guys in a second. And NVDA. You could just see the opposite patterns in both these stocks. So we'll pull this up here on the 5-minute time frame, and we'll just compare them, because I think they're pretty cool. So they're almost inverse to each other. As you can see, higher lows, lower highs here. So really cool, interesting pattern. We're breaking to the top side, resistance up here around that 2180 level. And then you have support systems down here at 136 here on NVDA, looking like they might breach them here on the session. So we'll be patient, wait to see what's going on with that one. But as of right now, we're just going to stick to what's working. And that seems to be INTC on the session. Oh, Gorev, check this out too. One thing that I missed on some good stocks and good names this morning, look at this hammer here, Sharif, on INTC, 5-minute. Really nice look here, my guy Gorev, throughout the whole session, really, and then a nice recovery on the 5-minute here. And then Gorev, check out this one as well too, my guy. On NVDA, yeah, that was on one of my top lists here, and then a really nice hammer 5-minute candle for those 5-minute orb traders to the top side, but had the inability to crack it and then come into the support levels here around 132 in the pre-market. But I think at some point it will recover. It might just take some time, but when the ball gets rolling on this name, you almost get that snowball effect, and it just drags the overall market up with it, and then that steam is just moving it, propelling it forward and forward and forward. It may not happen today, but I think at some point we continue to climb in this stock. So, but we're going to see what Adara's up to.
Get it, Adara.
This is really interesting here. Please keep an eye on PSQH, in case the ticker sounds familiar. This company is called PSQ Holdings, and they actually announced late last year that Donald Trump Jr. had joined their board. Well, now the CEO of PSQ actually tweeting here that his brother-in-law has been appointed to a leadership post at the U.S. Department of Transportation. So first they had this connection here to Donald Trump Jr. Now the CEO's brother-in-law involved at the DOT. So keep an eye here on PSQH pushing to the upside, 7% short float, and multiple governmental connections, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara.
Every time we say Donald Trump Jr., I always think Barron for some reason, because the kid's like, I don't know, he's like 6'7" or something along those lines.
Yeah.
He's a big kid.
Eric. I think he was he was the tallest one before Barron came onto the scene.
Yeah, and now
Barron's a monster. He's like 6 foot 100.
Yeah, he's almost like, it's like that kid's 7 foot and he's still pretty young. So,
ridiculous,
you know, Donald's going to probably get him in the league or something along those lines. But I mean, hey, here we go, guys. Like Apple really, really strong today. Somewhat of an outlier. What?
Neil's laugh.
What? That he's going, you don't think Barron's going to, yeah, you don't think he's going to the league?
Get it, Barron.
Yeah, what do you mean? Hey, man, listen, if Bronny James can make it to the league, then, you know, Barron has a chance too. So, I mean, there we go. Okay, here we go.
It's over.
It's over. Neil liked that one. Here we go, guys. Running into yesterday's highs, Sharif, is Apple really strong. One of the stronger Mag 7s here, climbing higher and higher.
Joseph.
Still only about 9% off that all-time high. So I think that this name has a big potential to recover and recover quickly. And I say this time and time again, and I've said it on the show. Okay, yeah, iPhone sales are down 13% in China. Boohoo. Services are up about the same all around. But these guys have $100 billion in free cash flow. It's unlimited money. The stock is just an absolute money printer. The margins are high, so that's what gives them the ability to just stack cash. And you got to buy the dips on these names, and I think that's the exact same case here in Apple and Google as well, Sharif.
All right, we're in KDLY. I was able to take, I'm long at 7s. I took some out there into the mid 20s, so we took some at 25s. It's not forthcoming in the same way to the high side as it had been earlier, but as I mentioned, this wide range per candle, I've tried to give myself a little bit of room below 3, knowing that it has wicked below 3, and that 3 is a support level, previously resistance vis-a-vis this top end right here, this area crest as I call it. So we wet our beak a few times over here. Now I'm waiting into the high 20s. I will layer into the 30s as well. We'll go ahead and wait at 333. There we go. Throw that on there in case this one really squeezes. And again, it has a propensity to do that. So if we have wide ranges per candle on a stock and you've seen it over and over and over pop up into an area and then dip back down really quickly, it behooves you to throw out resting orders, because unless you're going to be like Speedy Gonzalez over here and be able to take out those levels with super fast exits and entries, well, I can't do that. And this is exactly what I mean. See how it popped up like that? Now watch how it drops. Come on, don't make me look bad. Drop. Yes! There we go. So it pops up into the 40s and then it drops. So now we're done our trade on KDLY. So I didn't realize that I took everything out there. So kind of a bit of a fat finger on my part, but did well on it. KDLY is not off the hook right yet. So this could actually squeeze above that 360 area. 359 is the, oh, I still have some on KDLY. What am I saying? Excuse me, I got stopped at a CVS for the remaining amount there, and then it popped right back up. So that's kind of frustrating. Was able to de-risk a little bit on CVS as it goes right back into that area. Yeah, that's kind of the situation. We'll have to deal with that. All right, let's layer some more orders. I thought I had more on this one. That's what I was thinking. Let's layer some orders on KDLY, see if we can continue to pop up here. Now zigging and zagging with 30s. Best print I had so far, 33s. It's showing me 34s now. Let's see if we can continue to squeeze. It looks like there is a bit of a seller right now at the third of a dollar. Here comes 36s, 40s right now. Yeah, there's 40s. Can we squeeze a little bit higher? Can we get much higher? Sorry, guys. I slung up yesterday and people were not very happy with it. There's a there's a hidden seller at 40. We just rejected that area again, despite not having too much size on the book. So it looks like as if somebody's selling there at the 40 penny area. Just occurred to me, I didn't give you any of the details on KDLY, so let me do that now. 1.19, so 1.9, I should say, excuse me. Million share float, says Trade Ideas with a short float of 4.17 million. The volume on the day is quite well. I think we've done almost 100 million shares, just less. We're going to hit 100 million right now, it looks like. So there's plenty of liquidity on KDLY. It's the #1 gapper up on the day. It's 133%. It's above VWAP. It's above the 10 exponential. It's got all the factors, all the ingredients that I look for to trade these small cap gappers. Now it just comes down to good entries, good exits, and sound risk management. This has got everything we need. Here's that 40 level again, and bang, we take out 40. So now we're going to wait on 50. Appreciate you, Joseph. Appreciate you, Adara. Now we're going to wait at that 55 penny level, see if we can take out the high. The high of the day is 59. So I'm front running the size right now at 59 because I anticipate that we will have some selling at the high of the day. So let's see if we can clear that 50 penny area on our way up here. 143%. Let's see where this one goes, Joseph.
Hey, bang, let's go here, guys. One thing we're going to do, we've got to highlight these quotes. We got to see where the strength is. I like to see an imbalance on these names, so we're gonna modify that. That didn't do much. I just put down 1 share. Okay, anyways, guys, here we go. We're cooking up here in INTC. Philip Boyd, let me know the expiration cycle on those. Well, SPY changes so fast, I think I'm okay. 0 DTE is all I can afford. I'm new. Okay, so yeah. I mean, you got the 601s. You're gonna need that to accelerate a little bit. I think you'll be sitting pretty pennies if you can get to that to this local high here. Right here, this pivot here, if you can get to 603, I think you'll be okay. But the full recovery, big gap down on that CPI print, just be wary about that. But 0 DTA, beware. And the later we get in the session, they're really going to accelerate, and so is that gamma on those contracts. So keep that in mind. Someone in the chat also said they were asking, hey, where can I find an options course for beginners? Go back into the archives. You'll see a beginner's options course lesson. There's a couple of them. Run through those, and hopefully that will help you, and then come back to us. And then you can just go advance from there. There's multiple options contracts, options lessons, that you can go through. So we got A.O. Lewis, $2 super chat. Gotta say, Sharif was good luck. Fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah, we got that. We got the gif of that. So there you go, Sharif. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Thank you, Leo Lewis.
I told you guys this yesterday. I turned the game on, and the first play that I seen was a flag. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, that's it. Same old NFL seems to be the case, guys. But let's see what we got going on IBIT. I thought we were going to be a little bit stronger here. Hasn't been the case. I didn't get back in. Been focusing on INTC, and that's totally fine. But one thing I should have done, I should have punched back in around this 54.10 level. Hopefully we can crack through some of these resistance and then maybe head to that CPI print. But one thing I want to note is that look how strong the market has been, some of these big names starting to recover, and IBIT and Bitcoin has not participated, but when something negative came out, it just slams to the downside. So that can just give you a broader perspective of, hey, maybe this underlying isn't as strong as you think it is, so we'll keep that in mind. But I do think at some point we're going to recover. Sharif has 125 by his birthday. I mean, Sharif, that ground, for me, what I need to happen, I believe, is that we need to just chop around within this range for the better part, because we can put that in a matter of a couple of sessions, right? Like when this thing's strong, you can move 10K in a day. So boom, 10K in a day would put us at 105. And then if you have another couple follow-up strong sessions, you're probably north of 125 by your birthday. So the more choppiness is in my favor, but I'll also take the move up to 1.
See what Andre said to me today?
No, what Andre say?
So he's like, so what's the bet that you have with Joe?
Yeah.
I'm like, so if it hits, 125 by my birthday on the May 25th, he's a Gemini too, then I get 2 shares of IBIT. Yeah. Joe, if it doesn't, Joe gets it. He's like, Joe's going to win.
Oh,
like, wow, Andre.
Let's go,
yeah, he just completely dismissed me.
Dude, you know what, though? A lot of people in the chat have me as the favorite here. You know what I mean? But besides the bet, obviously I want IBIT to go. I think
what's going on, Neil?
Oh, USO?
No, I think he said who.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Andre.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Dude, it's a win-win situation for me, really. You know, IBIT's at 125. We hit the bank. It's not at 125. I also bank a little bit here, so it's a win-win for everybody, I think, in this situation. And I think that's why it's so fun. Right, unless you're short, but I think that's why it's fun.
Look at the borrow fees. Now I'm playing.
Yeah, look at the borrow fees. Right, yeah.
All right, guys, we're zigging and zagging here with that $0.50. There is a seller of note on KDLY. I'm waiting at 55s. I believe this one did spike, and bang, we take it out. There it goes through the $0.75 now. The high of the day, 82s. But look at that range per candle. This is what I meant, guys. See, it pops up into 82, and now it's down into 50s. That is a characteristic of this stock. Why does that matter? Because if you're not taking profits at those levels, it's spending literally fractions of a second at those levels. If you don't have those resting orders there, or unless you're Superman, and I ain't, you're not taking the profits. So use resting orders is what I'm trying to say. Good trade right now. Happy with this one on KDLY. Looking to get back in because I'm done all my shares here. Good move up to the high side though. We take what did we take? We took 55 pennies or a little bit less on that. So keeping my eye on KDLY for another entry. Now, I'm also looking, as I mentioned earlier, at CFLT. So I don't want to be quick to just ignore KDLY. It was good to me. Maybe I can extract some more profitability off it if I can get it in at a key level. But I'm also looking at CFLT. The reason I'm looking at CFLT, despite the fact that it's only up, less than 20%, 19.9%, it's gotten to that 10 exponential now. And it's put a bit of a 2-candle pullback. And, last time we put a 4-candle pullback into the 10 exponential, we ended up making new highs. So I'm interested here. I'm interested at the 10 exponential around this $36 area. If that doesn't hold though, then I'm looking for this area, 36.50 to 36 and 3/4. Why? Because I perceive this area over here at around 950.10 to be the area crest, the area that we rejected before we made our move down below 35, then made our way above that level. So what does this mean? That means that area was previously resistance. Technical analysis tells us that former areas of resistance sometimes act as support once they've been cleared. So I'm looking for this one first to hold the 10 exponential. Doesn't hold the 10 exponential, then I'm looking for that 35.5, 35 3/4 entry for CFLT. But I want to also mention the OG Jay Lee was telling me about SMCI. And so let's have a look at SMCE over here, big earnings winner yesterday. So the reason I was even looking at SMCI, it was south of VWAP. And I said to myself, well, if this is south of VWAP and it's an earnings winner, could it have a nice move into VWAP? So let's have a look at what SMCI is doing right now. So we got a bit of a 41 rejection there, Jay. I don't know what you were seeing or where your beak wetters were, whether you were looking to take some profits at 41. I personally was looking for a move from around 41 into about 41 1/3. That would be where I would first take profits. And then if we wanted to clear VWAP, well then fantastic. The reason I'm even looking at this right now too, as I mentioned, we're curling back into VWAP, but look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red candles in a row before we found a bit of a base here at around 39.50, give or take. A couple of pennies, obviously we wick below 39.50, but the closing prints all around that $0.50. So I said, all right, well, this could be a nice mean reversion, at least in the VWAP. So I'm going to keep my eye on SMCI, despite the fact, obviously, it's not a small cap gapper. Good look right now. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Let's have a look at the scanner up top. Anything new? Yosh. What the hell is this? Okay, so a new entrant has found its way onto my scanner, YOSH. This bad boy here is a $20 million market cap, and it's up 70%, 67%. So this one, look, I mean, we were doing a little bit of volume in the earlier time of day, but the volume really started kicking in at around 10:30. It's lightly traded though, guys. YOSH. It's got 500,000 shares traded on the day. It looks to be awfully spready. 1516, 1537. She's okay. Oh, yeah, okay, no problem. Thanks, Andre. Yeah, so YOSH, Joseph, a little spready for me, a little bit light on volume. So despite the fact that it's a big boy on the day, I am concerned a little bit that it might be light on volume. What's your look over there?
Yeah, I mean, here we go, man. Someone in the chat said, Joe, you don't need to go long every day. Well, pull up my chart, please, and thank you. I know the boys are busy here, but why would I not when the setups are there? Right? Like, come on. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah, I know there's a short button. Do I hit it that often? I hit it when it's time to, but as of right now, I don't. And yeah, Los Pollos Hermanos, thanks, Joe. Have gone long. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. That's a really nice indecision. We're talking about SPY right here. He's asking me about the 15-minute, and I don't pay too much attention to the 15-minute, right? I'd stick to 2 intraday time frames. I'll look at higher time frames for a daily perspective and see what the broader trend is looking like. But this is what we were talking about, Los Pollos, is here. Beautiful indecision doji right at view up and now starting to climb higher and higher. I want to see if we can come and touch this 603 for the playmaker as well, too.
Ooh.
Because if we continue with this strength, which I think we're going to at this point, recover of CPI, I think we can come and touch these levels and fill this potential gap that has been created. So let's see what we got going on from a daily perspective. And we're not too far off these all-time highs in the SPY, Sharif, not necessarily being led by these big names. Like NVDA is still a little bit down, but we know Meta has. But market breadth is good. If the market starts to widen, then we're going to continue to trade higher, and I think that's going to be the case here. People say the third year of a bull market more chippy choppy, and that's fine. We're seeing that now. It's displayed now. But the earnings are there. We know the street's also a little bit worried about CapEx spend on AI spend as well too. So we're going to monitor that. But these big names are just printing cash hand over fist and continue to do so. So I think it's, I mentioned it before, is again, buy the dip opportunity in this market. Again, not too many headwinds. We know that we're battling inflation, not going as smooth maybe. Jerome says there's no need to change the mandate. Totally understandable, and I don't think he's going to ever. He's going to stick to it and hit those goals. But that'll come at the cost of probably the labor market, etc. But only time will tell, and we'll wait for those things to come to fruition. But I mean, Tesla's strong, UPST really strong, putting out really, really great numbers year over year is UPST. And then NVDA climbing back towards the volume-weighted average price. I think that if the volume steps into this thing, Sharif, we're going to start to climb higher on it. Some key resistance levels we need to break through, and we're going to need the momentum to step in order for us to do so. But what we can analyze is this volume by time profile right now is that as we climb higher, that volume is starting to dwindle. Not the best sign. We want to see that volume start to step in, and then we can take it higher, potentially breach some key resistance levels, and that's what I'm looking for NVDA to do today, Sharif.
All right, I'm back in KDLY. I already took some profits at 60. Now I'm waiting at 69. You know I'm waiting, right? 16. Shout out to Tisha. Her and I, it looks like we have the same entry. Get it, Tisha. She just let me know. I didn't even chart this wide enough, so thank you, Tisha, for letting me know. Blue sky setup above 420. You heard that right. 420. Apparently, this is a new IPO. You know, I kind of didn't do my homework, quite frankly, on this. I didn't look to see what the chart had been doing. And yes, that is correct, Tisha. 420 high back in June or May 31st of 2024. So shout out to May, my favorite month, I'll tell you that. Here we go, 69 incoming, waiting for that print. We're going to take it here. We're not going to wait. Boom, we'll take that out there. And now I'm going to set up at 88. Go KDLY. So now we're going to set up at 88. Shout out to CD Lamb. Hopefully the Cowboys can have a bit of a better year this year. God knows I had a really bad one. So we're going to continue to wait here. Got in, you know, I don't know how you feel about this, Tisha. I felt that 340 was a bit of a local resistance level. We rejected off it here and again over here, and then I wet my beak on the break of it over here, but it was a hard roll. So when we dipped down below that half level, I felt confident punching in. Here come 80s. Here come 88s. CD. 85 high a day right now is waiting at 88, so we're going to have to continue to wait to see if we can get back into those levels. But yeah, to go back to what I was saying, I perceived there to be some resistance initially at 340, which had me feeling confident. If I got into the mid 40s, then I could just give it to right below 30s, right below 40s, excuse me. So I only had to risk about 10 pennies, give or take, not even. And I was just going to stop out if it broke below that 40 penny level. Again, 40 pennies, I perceived it to be a nice area of previous resistance, this time looking like it is support. So this one is on one right now. It just printed a new high a day, but as I mentioned, the range per candle is quite wide. It doesn't spend all that much time in the price level that it wicks up to. Oh my goodness, what's happening up there? So we're going to keep an eye out on that one, Joseph, as this one continues to zig and zag at that 380 level. Still packing my patience there. Looking at the other bad boys here on the side chart, I'm not really liking anything at the moment. Maybe EH a little bit. We'll get to that one in a sec, but just waiting for this trade to end right now on KDLY. It is not forthcoming to the high side, 385 HOD, and you bet your bottom dollar, if we take out 420 today on KDLY, I will be in that trade. I will be long. There's probably people short.
Oh, you got a face slapper on there.
Bro, look, bro, I'm not a great trader. I don't take too much size during the show, but I like to pride myself on my entries.
What do you mean? We have forest, bro.
You know, whatever. So that's... We're having a good time, bro. We're having a good time. So in any event, I'm continuing to watch this bad boy. And just let me remind you guys that KDLY has not a big short float or anything like that. KDLY, here we go. It's about 15.4%. And, you know, you have to assume that they're all short south of 420. Because that is the all-time high. So if we get above 420, this is probably squeezing to no end. And it's got a... Yeah, it's a bit of a larger float, about 501 million shares. Not the smallest definitely I've ever seen, but yeah, something that we can work with, Joe.
Yeah, fantastic stuff there. You're getting a lot of comments in the chat here. Tammy KB says you're a hell of a trader, Sharif.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Kind words, man.
Kind words, man. Yeah. And one thing that I'm noticing in the chat too, Sharif, Gorev and I have been talking a lot lately, as well as Los Pollos Hermanos. And these guys are picking out key signals that I'm looking for every day. Gorev found something on Google that I didn't even recognize, and he's been smashing it. He's like, dude, I recognize the isolated volume signature. I recognize the isolated pivot on the candle, and then he takes the long. Gorev, we noticed that the other day it wasn't working that good, but when they do work and when they display themselves, it's our job to take those opportunities, take those trades, and you've been doing exactly that. And you too, you as well, Los Pollos. Nice work, guys. That's what I like seeing in the chat. You guys adapting these things that we see on a day-to-day basis and then implementing them in your own way. We're not there pressing the buttons for you. You guys are doing that. You're implementing your own, you're infusing your own DNA within those trade setups, and congratulations to you guys for just absolutely smashing it. And it's only up from here. You're going to get better at them. You're going to take some losses, but you're going to also have the ability to really take advantage of those W's when they display themselves, and that's the name of the game. Learned a lot from Brankles and Wayner. These guys are like, yo, you got to add into those winners. You have to have confidence in it. You got to double down. You got to add to them and everything, and that's what we've been doing.
You. And you've been doing that, bro. Every single morning I see this guy trading at the open. He adds aggressively into winning positions.
Yeah.
He's not dollar cost averaging. He's adding into winning positions every single morning. And I see him do that. But there's a question for you. What does isolated volume mean?
Oh, yeah,
Stan is asking there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we don't have the best examples here today, but we'll pull it out right now. On the Google example that Gorev was looking at here, and this is what he's looking for. Google here. So this is what we're looking for when I mean isolated volume signatures, is that when we're at an extreme high or low, you can see that this one candle is an outlier to the previous 2 hours of trading. This is what we want to see. So Gorev analyzed, okay, the overall market seems relatively strong. We move higher. We haven't cracked any of these lows, but maybe the pullback sequence has been completed, and he recognized that by saying, hey, we have a doji candle here with an outlying volume signature. So this is what we're referring to. This isn't necessarily an A1 example. They're not always going to be like that, but that's what we're referring to. And when we have one, I'll display it. Here's a better example on BTC from a daily perspective. Tab. But it's not the signature isn't as isolated as I would like to look, but one thing on the volume is really key. So here you see this doji, but look how the volume candle is an extreme outlier. To me, this can display like, hey, we're ready to turn around. And on previous sessions, we go through them every day. I used, I think it was like Monday or something along those lines, where I gave like 4 examples of those isolated volume signatures and isolated pivots, and that can signal and justify possibly turning around volume, stopping volume, and igniting volume to the other side. And what I refer to as stopping volume is when we're at an extreme high or low, that means that party is exhausted, either buyers or sellers, and the price of the stock may be ready to turn around relative whatever way it is going. So yeah, that's what I mean. Hopefully that wasn't too complicated. Go back into the archives of Trader TV Live, and you can see that we have volume price analysis lessons. Go and watch those. Watch a couple of minutes of it. I use a couple examples as well too, and just the basics of VPA. And hopefully you learn from something like that and have the ability to identify things like Gorv and Los Polios are in the chat.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, good call out there. All right, I'm keeping an eye still on CVS. So I got stopped out for the remaining amount on it, but it's right back above VWAP. Now I'm perceiving this to be a rounded bottom. I don't know how anybody else feels there in the chat. It didn't respect VWAP in the strict sense, certainly, but it looks like, you know, this one could be headed back to the high side. I'm going to give this one the old college try. It won't let me in. There we go. It's oh, crap, bro. Yeah. Literally a couple of seconds. Damn. A couple of seconds. Oh. That's all I'm asking. Oh, my goodness. Were you at it?
Was that an ad there?
No, that was an entry. Oh, look at it just go. So clearly I was not the only one looking at that right now. It's just unreal, dude. It's like 30 pennies higher than where I want to get in a matter of seconds here, and it had been doing nothing. So, yeah. There's not much I can do about that. That was a good look there. I perceive this one to kind of be a rounded bottom where it was just putting in incrementally higher highs and higher lows. So, yeah, a little bit frustrated with that. But I like this entry again right now on KDLY right at the 10 exponential. This is an interesting entry here. Let's give this one a bit of a try. Let's see if we can get into there, and then we'll give it to here, and then we'll go all the way down into there. So that's the look. And now I'll look to scalp into the $half, and then we'll put some above there as well. So let's see if this one holds a 10 exponential. It looks like it's still quite strong, but you know, it could drop, so I'm not giving it that much room below my entry. KDLY, it's still a good look. Now, Tisha has different numbers than I do about this one. So she's telling me a general float of just about, I believe, 2.1 million shares. I have something way higher than that. So I don't know what everybody else is seeing. I'd love for you guys to be able to tag me in the chat. Let me know what you guys are seeing on KDLY in terms of a float, because I have it at like almost 500 million or something like that, Trade Idea says. So let me know. Sometimes this data just requires some updating. All right, keeping an eye on 55s. Boom, we take it out there again. Now I'm waiting in the high 60s. So we're going to keep trading KDLY so long as it's above that 10 exponential and holding the level, and so long as it's above VWAP, obviously. Very seldomly do you have VWAP above the 10 exponential. I've seen it happen at times, but very rare. So now we're waiting for that high to test that 370 area again. Anything below 330 and I'm gone. I'm just going to give this one very little room. Already de-risked a little bit. Comes back right into my entry. Having trouble right now with the $half. If we get anything below as a closing print, below that 10 exponential, which it's been very respectful of, I'm going to take that as a signal to get the hell out and then look to get back in at the volume weighted average price for $3. So that's what I'm looking for right now on KDLY. Quite disappointed that I didn't get the entry into CVS, but I'll have to have a short-term memory on that and just look to trade what's available for me right now. XLO, I kind of mentioned that one a little bit earlier on. Let me just see what the previous or the low of this candle is. So low of this candle is 31. So I have the right stop here, I think. So XLO just popped up quite aggressively. Let me throw the 5-minute on here so you guys have an idea of how this bad boy has been trading. So that black line right there, that's VWAP. A bit of a skewed line because the data starts a little bit late on this one, but it's now above VWAP. And it also took out this area crest and this area crest. I want to see if it holds the volume weighted average price. Right now, that's at $1.40. So if XLO wants to continue to trade above VWAP, let's put some dang respect on this one's name. It's up 130%. So, you know, it got a nice move up in the pre. It kind of did nothing, trading below VWAP. It had a couple of attempts at VWAP, both of which failed, and now it's on its third attempt, the best of the attempts, because we've gotten to the highest point so far, that $1.61. That is technically the high of the day. Now, you know my rules. Pre-market high and above VWAP. Well, that pre-market high is quite lofty at $2.02. So it might be a minute before I can actually trade XLO, despite the fact that it's above VWAP. And I won't be taking this if it doesn't take the pre-market high. I danced with a stock last week that made me really regret breaking my rules about taking these things south of the pre-market high. And the reason I say that is because these ones do quite a bit of volume. If they're trading in the pre-market, they trade like they're trading after the bell, okay? They do a lot of volume. So if you have a pre-market high, you could really, theoretically and realistically, have bag holders that are holding that stock from a higher level than where you're getting in and that want to get the hell out of there because they're out of the money. And they're going to keep a dampening. They're going to dampen the price action on that name, and you won't really get that parabolic effect. And so that's why I always insist on taking out the pre-market high before I get in. And that's exactly what I'm going to do with the XLO. I won't trade it below the pre-market high, Joseph.
Hey, good luck there, guys. So someone in the chat asked us about gold. We'll touch on gold, but first I got to do my guy, Big Solid. He's such, like, I don't know. I told you guys that we've been in this game for a long time together. This is Greg. Like, he's just absolutely blowing it out the water day after day, man. Yeah, exactly. So it's been a long time, man. We've been friends. So this is his style. He's looking for the same things. Phenomenal trade, and he's putting up size there too, guys. So yeah, I mean, great stuff. Amazing growth. We've been in this journey for since the beginning, essentially. But here we go, guys. NVDA. We're in NVDA. We're gonna see if we can get this break. If this volume's gonna step in. The market is starting to crawl higher. So I like that, gives me a little bit more conviction. The only thing is we're constructing lower highs, slightly alarming. If we break some key levels here, I'm going to have to get out of this one, and then we can definitely get a better entry, as you know I often like to do. Oh, I thought Ram was looking at me. I'm like, okay. Let's see what else was I. Yeah, I'm not too worried. Anyways, but here we go, guys, in IVIT. But just absolutely moving to the top side, Sharif. Now $55. We had a low of, whoa.
Okay. Bro, people are talking. Okay, I have to mention this, Joseph.
Bring this up here for me.
Here it is. Fed Chair Powell says we do not want to get in the way of banks serving perfectly legal customers using crypto.
Dang.
That was a while back, says Adara. Well, I see it at 11:17, so it was about 45 minutes ago. When banks take crypto activities on their own, it's appropriate to make sure we understand risk. On the other hand, we don't want to go so far as to overplay your hand. Many of these activities on crypto can be very well done at banks. Okay, so it looks like he doesn't want to stand in front of the banks, and I see Bitcoin making a move up at around 11:28. So I would think that maybe it coincides a little bit with that. I was responding to Sebastian, who's asking what the news headline was.
No, totally justifiable. I mean, this thing is really starting to pick up a little bit of steam here, Sharif. Now up closer to 2.7%. I had a confidence in the long today. So again, we missed out on this trade. That sucks, but it's okay. We'll always find another one. I think that's going to be NVDA. But here you go. Bitcoin moving to the top side. That headline can be huge for Bitcoin. We mentioned this. It's nothing for Bitcoin to put in a 10K day, right? And we haven't seen too many of those. If we go back in its history, I mean, it's put them in like it's no tomorrow, essentially. But as of recent, since it's became optionable, traders have the ability to hedge, so that can limit downside and topside as well, too, guys. So let's take a look at this. Price is really starting to compress here, Sharif. Even though we're moving to the downside, we're trading in like about a 5 or 6K range, which is absolutely nothing. This is a $100,000 asset. We should get a little bit more fluctuation from a day-to-day basis. So it's only a matter of time until volatility picks up, and then we get that steam moving, and then possibly Sharif going to take the W home on that bet. But as of right now, we're going to be patient, wait for a potential pullback in this name, and then look to get involved. But let's talk about INTC as we continue to climb higher, and that's all that I'm in right now. Sorry, I'm in an NVDA as well too, guys. But here we go, looking to put in a potential new high. We're going to take a little bit off the top here, Sharif, just to trim some up here as these semis continue to climb higher. I'm going to get to gold now and then send it to Sharif. I'm going to keep this gold simple. Buy. Gold is a buy, I think, at any given point. There's a finite amount. There's only so much gold on this planet, sorry. So we'll continue to look at that. Maybe not up here, But on other levels, I'll do one more actually, and that's AMD. A lot of traders asking me about AMD. To be honest with you, Sharif, this thing has not been on my radar for an extended period of time, and I think it's going to stay like that. But one thing that we need to keep in mind here is a nice little pivot on the 5-minute, and then that buying volume really starts to step in here. So that is my look. NVDA starting to climb higher. We like this, Sharif. Hopefully we can get this breakout, which we are, and we're going to take some off the top here. We're going to send it to you, brother.
All right, man. I'm still waiting here on KDLY. I'm looking to stop out below 330. It's still zigging and zagging right here. It bounced off 330. The reason I'm saying 330 is because that's the area low. So if we break that level, that'll be a lower high and a lower low. That's not what I'm in this for. It's going to have to hold this area. Now, if it wants to do a compression pattern where it puts in a higher low but a lower high, that I can accept, but I will not accept lower highs and lower lows on a pattern that I'm looking for a breakout trade in. So we're about 4 pennies out of the money with one last out on this bad boy. Anything below 330, we're gonzino, keeping an eye there. I'm just seeing here that Tulsi Gabbard has been confirmed as the next top intelligence chief. She just got voted in right now. So keep, not that that really matters for any trades that we have, but any, these, I don't even think the defense stocks would move. That's more like a Pete Hegseth thing. But yeah, I'm just seeing that come in right now. She did get confirmed with Mitch McConnell being the only dissenting Republican vote. Not surprised there. So we'll keep an eye out on that. I think RFK still not voted in yet. Now, the reason I'm talking about RFK is because I've got a bit of a swing trade here on MindMed. MindMed obviously deals with psilocybin, some of these alternative theory or alternative treatments to things like PTSD, depression, stuff like that. Trying to get away from the pharma and the biotech route. So, that popped up. I think it's trading at 8.5, give or take, something like that. So that's another one that I'll be looking out for to see whether RFK can get confirmed. So keeping an eye out there. But the Playmaker poll is now up, Joseph, and you know what I'm going to hit. We're hitting long, baby. I think it's been long like every single day, but I'm good with that. All right, back above the $0.50 goes KDLY, not forthcoming to the high side though. Trying to keep an eye out on that. XLO continues to go though, guys. I'm still not going to trade it until it gets above that $2 area, but it's putting in higher highs and higher lows. It's a bit anemic though on XLO because, it's being kept down by these people that were long at $2 and $1.95 and $1.90 and $1.85 and every other level that's above this $1.60 level right now. Traded heavily in the pre-market with good volume there. I'm also keeping an eye, sadly, on what's it called? CVS as it continues to stair-step higher and higher, now breaking through that 63.25. Good look for CVS earnings winner, guys. Did quite well on the report. I was really surprised to see how they were able to shore up costs. Their insurance branch did well. Their medical services did well. Pharmacy, still a little bit, not so good. Reason being, a lot of brand name drugs, their licenses or their patents expired this year, so that they could be basically, they could have generic substitutions. And generic substitutions, you have less margin on. I'll give you an example. In this province of Ontario, when we sell brand name drugs, I'm allowed to mark up to 18% markup on the brand name. However, when it's a generic drug, we're capped at like 8 or 7%, depending on the formula. So obviously, needless to say, it's a lot more lucrative for these pharmacies to sell brand name drugs, not just for the biotech companies who have higher margins.
Oh, man.
So that is a bit of a headwind for them at the moment. We'll talk more about that though once we get back from Madeira and Near's lesson of the day.
Oh, he's handing it to me.
We're just doing the lesson of the day, everybody. It's all good. We'll get to it there for a quick second. There was a headline, negotiations. Well, so Trump had a call with Putin, and apparently negotiations starting. Maybe you're going to get into the Ukraine war. There was a bit of a volume spike. You had crypto news. You had that as well, heading things to the upside. But I want to say the simple lesson here is avoid the headshot. A lot of times we reference some of the floor managers have been on the floor here over time. Right now, it's Brankles and Wayne, and before we had Greg, and I've done it, and we've had others, and Sean as well. But one of the things that usually gets said is you definitely want to avoid taking those like massive hits, like the day ruiners, don't give it back your whole day. But the one I really liked is when someone said, avoid the headshot. Because there's a difference between taking like a hit or a big hit and a headshot. And a lot of times, you should be willing to risk it for the biscuit, like all that kind of good stuff. Like I'll show you, I'm going to start with Palantir. I'll talk about Intel and some other ones as well, maybe even Tesla. There are times when you like a breakout trade, and breakouts, longs in general on Palantir have been so good. And you're willing to sort of go into the long, go into the long, go into the long, and give multiple shots at it, give it a little bit of extra room, because you know if it goes, it could go $2, $3 for you, and you want to have that tight risk reward. So what I'm talking about for the headshot is trying to blend that trade. So like obviously I'm going to fail here. There's a fail on Palantir. Let's just get that out of the way, that I didn't go long there. Right after the morning show and I need to go to the bathroom. It sucks, but what are you going to do? That's a fail not having that entry. No, but I like the long in Palantir. I think it's got an obvious recovery candle. I mean, what do you guys think? What does that look like? Does that look like a recovery to you? Back above prior resistance, holds above prior resistance. Yeah, we're going to like a long setup like that. And it's a stock with an upward trend. But the headshot to me is, if you, and again, like you could be in this, you could add at 15, you could add at 114.5, but then if it loses 114, 114.5, I actually heard the Midday Boys talk about this. Adding the winners is different from adding the losers. At that point, like you could have a 115 price if you average into it and it loses 114. That's $1. It's not unreasonable to lose $1. But the other thing you have to consider is, if you're risking that $1 on average, well, how much do you have? Because if you have a 15 price, it's now 1-to-1. When it's done all of this work, it'd be 1-to-1 for you. And so the headshot has nothing to do with how much you've made or lost on the day. It has nothing to do with what your average day was like the week before or the day before. It literally has nothing to do with that. It has to do with how much are you going to make on this trade relative to how much you're risking. And that's what it comes down to. To me, the headshot is the amount that you're going to make when it goes up, you just risk 3-4x that. That's a headshot. Because even if that's a small amount of your daily loss limit or a reasonable amount of your daily loss limit, let's say you only risk 20% of your daily loss. That's perfectly reasonable on that shot. But if it turns out that the amount that you'd make if it won for you is 2, 3, 4x relative to the amount you risked on that trade, it's a headshot. And the reason why the term was coined is because even if it's a reasonable amount that you lost, that particular strategy for you, if done over and over again and leveraged, is going to end up being a little bit of trouble, because you end up risking way too much compared to the upside of the trade. You can't sustain losing streaks if that happens to you, which is going to happen in trading. What happens when you have 3-4 bad ones in a row? All of a sudden, that 3-4 really adds up relative to what you're going to win. Now I'm going to use another example here. Well, it's Intel. I got to use Intel, because Intel was almost a headshot for me. And I was saying this earlier, like it all started when I broke a rule. So first things first, I like stocks that are upward trending, check. I like stocks that hold prior highs, check. But I anticipated on the way down. And I anticipated on the way down, and I probably, if it had bounced here, I can tell you what was going to happen. If it had bounced here, I was going to be adding to this position when it actually did something that I don't like. And that is fail the high, lower high, break down, underneath VWAP, and then underneath the prior high. Like all of that is a failed top break, and I don't like longs in that situation. And it was so close, because if this is, I'll tell you right now, if this had started working even a little bit on a reversion and then that still happened, it would have probably ended up a headshot, because I would have been adding to it. Thankfully, I get a little bit fortunate. It never gave me an opportunity to add to this position. And that's just blind luck, because had I been doing it, I violated a rule, an execution rule for myself, not in terms of just when to get in, but also where to get in and under what circumstances do I need to see to still like that long. Ultimately, sometimes the market's going to do you a solid, and instead of bouncing at like 2130, it bounced at that obvious 21 level we were talking about. Okay, great. Thank you, Intel, for giving me the reprieve. But it doesn't change the fact that that's not a good entry, and it's at 930. Like that 930 dip, got to be real careful with those, especially when you're at a stock that just lost the prior high. So always consider when you're making a trade, your risk in that trade relative to itself. How much did you risk on that trade to pay you off whatever? It's a lot easier when it looks like this and you have like tight entries into one price or something like that. But it gets a little bit trickier when you find yourself in a situation where, no, I didn't blend this one in, but let's just say I did. Like you find it's a little bit trickier when you blend in. When you average up, a lot of times you just trail it to the prior resistance level. When you average down, it becomes a lot trickier because you're gonna have the max amount for that potential flush trade. So you've got to make sure that when you're executing on the way out or your plan on the way out allows you to have a strong enough gain for the times it blows out. So remember, compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges. Each trade or each particular type of setup, an individual trade needs to be judged on its own merits so that you can avoid the headshot, everybody. That's your lesson of the day.
Keep an eye here in CVX. I'm seeing some reports there that during an internal town hall meeting, apparently the company announced they're going to be reducing their workforce by 15 to 20%. So CVX on watch here, guys. Back to you. Sorry, what were you asking?
Joseph's got a great question there from the chat, but before we do that, I want to mention KDLY, guys. It has to be on watch. 420 is the all-time high. If we squeeze above this 420 area, it's going to be trouble for the shorts. We could probably see a hell of a short squeeze. KDLY, it's already on people's radar, up 175%. I promise you, this one will be trouble for the shorts above 420. Set some alerts, do what you need to do, but just be around for it if small cap gappers are your thing. $4.20 all-time high, Joseph.
Hey, bang, good stuff here, guys. We got INTC still ripping, but NVDA really starting to work out for us here. So we like this trade, guys, but we got a great question in the chat before we take a little bit more off the top here. It says, Sharif, Joe, yesterday I went bigger size and could not play the same way as regular size. Today went back to regular size and had a good day. How does a trader get over this block? And yeah, that's such like a phenomenal question because to this day, I still have that type of issue, is like just going size where you have high levels of conviction. But there's a couple of things, right? One, I'm just going to keep it simple. Just get comfortable with being uncomfortable, all right? I hope that'll take you, that'll help a lot, right? So that's just what I tell myself. When I get nervous, I'm like, okay, I feel alive now. I'm really alive. And then also, like, you did it one time, right? Don't expect everything to work the first time. Been through it multiple times. And that's one thing Brankles and Wayner and Obi taught me is like, when you have conviction within the trade, then that'll give you the ability to put in more size. And I think that's what it is. So when you have more conviction within your setup, it'll give you the ability to push more size. Also practice, right? I was telling Sharif about a free replay system, that you can use. I use replay on a day-to-day basis as well too, and it helps you work on those executions. Every evening I go and I run my previous day of trading, and then I try to push it. Even though it may be exaggerated sometimes, I just try to push it just to get comfortable with that setup, and then it gives you the ability, oh, I've seen this before. I've seen this 100 times before. Okay, you enter, you get a little, you wet your toes. Oh, it's working, and then you add more. The first time you do it, it's probably not going to work. You're going to feel nervous and everything totally normal, but just continue to do so, and eventually you will get to where you want to be. It may take a month, it may take 6 months, but just keep pushing. And one quote that I always like to live by is that a winner is just a loser who tried one more time. All right, that's it. That's all it is. Bang. That's it, Sharif. That's it. Done. Mic drop. I'm done.
That's a mic droppable moment right there.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. A winner is just a loser who tried one more time, man. No one has gone like through this game just a breeze and made it easy. This will beat you down to the point where you don't want to do it anymore. Experienced traders themselves have been like, yo, I want to quit this stuff. But you know how many times I've thought that? It's like, yo, I can't take it anymore. But guess what? The next day you're like, yeah, all right, let's go back at it. Let's follow the system. Let's follow follow the rules, and then let's crush it. Even though you may not crush it, and you'll have some days where you're like, oh, head down. Totally keep that chin up, keep working, and it'll come to you.
And look what your buddy Greg said in the chat. Record your screen, watch it back until it feels comfortable. That's actually really interesting.
Very.
Because it helps you get the psychology of, like, you know, watching the trade, you know, getting nuanced with it. Yeah, that's a good point there. All right, Dell. Who's this individual that keeps telling me look at Dell? I can't even say your first name. I'm really sorry. I'm not going to try and butcher it, but let's have a look at DELL. It's up almost 2%, you know, a little bit below 2% right now. This is the 5-minute on Dell. Looks like there's that 114 resistance, 113 and 3/4. We're very close to that level right now. Now, this doesn't respect VWAP, but what it did respect very clearly was the pre-market high right there, right at 820. We got into that pre-market high at around 112 1/4, and then lo and behold, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 candle holdup on the 5 at that 112 1/4. So this one looks like it's respecting price action support and resistance. If that's how I feel, then I'm probably feeling the same way maybe about that 113.75, 114 area as a short, right? Because it's not really these indicators, but more price action support and resistance. So interesting look for Dell. It's a nice bull flag kind of looking pattern. Whether or not we get a continuation above 114, yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. But I do like the level. If it rejects 114, 113.75 area, it could be a nice short, maybe into VWAP, which currently is around 112.80. Unless you're going to get that breakout above 114. But I don't think that there was a headline of importance today, maybe on Dell.
A lot of people chiming in after that. Winner is just a loser.
Oh, people love that, bro. Yeah, absolutely. OTR Global upgraded Dell to positive. So that's the only thing that I'm seeing there for Dell. Let's just have a look quickly at anything else. I don't know if yeah, we know Dell and SMCI are competitors. So this could be a sympathy play, right? Where it's up about 2%, well, it's up over 2% right now. Maybe in sympathy with SMCI. Not really seeing anything else, guys. So Dell, not a bad look. Nothing that I really want to take on Dell at the moment. There's a lot of other ones to look at. I'm talking about Upstart. I'm talking about LTBR, and this one on my screen currently, KDLY. I'm just waiting for this one to break above 4, waiting for this one to take 420, because this is a very aggressive move to the high side, and we know we've already earmarked that 420 level. That is the all-time high since this bad boy IPO'd back in June. May 31st, sorry, and then it hasn't been that high since. So I'm keeping my eye on these bad boys. Not in a trade right now, though, guys, but definitely looking at getting into one. Here's EH as well. EH pulled in, initially bounced off that volume weighted average price, now breaking down below 24.5. There is the volume weighted average price at around, 24, a little bit higher than 24. I could be persuaded to get into there at VWAP. There's Upstart as well. The Upstart, I wouldn't have had a trade on. I didn't earmark any of these areas for an entry. It looks like it found support at 84 bucks. 84 bucks was an area of importance in the pre-market, but it's not a level that I would have charted. It's coming into the high of the day. The high of the day on Upstart right now, 89.47. We're printing 12s, so we're about to take out that level, maybe even see 90 on UPST. It's a great look for the name on the day, but I've got no entries on anything right now. Nothing is setting up to my liking. So I'm keeping my eye on KDLY. Specifically, I'm also looking at EH for a pullback into VWAP. I'd like to pick it up off there. Well, we shall see. Neil was asking me if we had chosen a charity. You're going to choose a charity. I'm going to choose a charity.
Yeah.
Right? So he's thinking Sick Kids is a classic.
Yeah, it's right down the street too.
Yeah, it's right because we're super close to a hospital.
I was going to say like a fighting community, but maybe we'll go Sick Kids. It's probably a little bit more.
You're going to do fighting community?
Yeah, well, I was going to say
charity.
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
right? It's expensive, right? You get the kids.
100%, right? It's expensive. I think
Sick Kids is. I think the Sick Kids is definitely the better call. So.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, each one gets we choose our own, right?
Exactly.
So Sick Kids could be out there as well. Definitely a good look there. All right, let's see what some people are saying here in the chat. Meta just 52-week highs. I think that's all-time highs, Gaurav, on Meta. META, the monster Meta, just got into 725.76. It's about $1 and change lower than that level right now, but good call out by Gorev. Here comes 4 on KDLY. Now this is squeezing. We know 420 is the all-time high. Here we go. We're zigging. We're zagging. There's a seller here in the high single digits or around 10. It looks like it rejected that level. I'm keeping an eye on KDLY. This thing could become parabolic. I think if we take out those levels, a bit of a higher short float there, guys. As I mentioned, last time I checked with Trade Ideas, 15.4%. That's not negligible. So this one could absolutely go, especially when we're at all-time highs. You know where the shorts are sitting. They cannot be higher than that. So we'll probably wait and see exactly if we can get a break of that level. Look at it go. Here we go. Joseph Wilson. It looks like all hell is breaking loose right now with this bad boy. KDLY up almost 200%. Let's see if we can. What's up?
Adara, are you plugged in?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I'm not plugged in. My bad.
Yeah, it's all good.
Get it, Adara.
Get it, Adara.
Keep an eye here in PFE, apparently getting FDA approval for one of its treatments. It's basically it's combination regimen for the treatment of relapsed or refractory large B-cell lymphoma. So lymphoma treatment, getting some FDA approval here for PFE, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Derek. I send it to you because I'm going to try and
yeah, do what you got to do there, guys. NVDA starting to pull back in. The market is still crawling higher, guys, recovering a lot of that CPI print. This is exactly what we want to see. The market is strong today, so we'll stick to what the names that are strong. No need to short anything just yet, so we'll take a look at that. Joe W. is a good to close SPY long at yesterday's closing price based on the close this morning gap, or do you just ride it? Thanks. I mean, that's totally subjective, man. And that's the thing, right? Like, one thing we were talking about before is just the experience. Well, think about it. We're trading against individuals who've been trading for 10, 20 years. We've been in this game for not that long, so expect those kind of that turbulence, right? It's an experience thing, but again, this is where it comes into play for you. Just write down your trade plan, right? Just like, okay, I'm in here. These are my profit targets running at key levels, and then just accept the fact it's either your targets are going to get hit or they won't. They'll get rejected, and that's totally fine. But just write down that game plan. Those profit targets are totally subjective. We got $5. I'm going to send it to you. $5 chat for the challenge I suggest. Operation Smile, the poverty kids cleft surgery, life-changing operation. I know because I changed mine. ChatGPT, we love that. That's what we're going to do. It's going to go to sick kids. What do you got going on?
Here comes the short squeeze. We mentioned it. Here comes the short squeeze. Okay, so now we're zigging. We're zagging. I got 16s on 40. Seller at 40. Looks like they can't take them out right now. So that seller at 40 still in place. It's a hidden seller, excuse me, because we couldn't take him on. There was really no size posted on the gateway. Anything below 4, guys, I'm gone. I'll get back in, but it's going to have to continue the trend. I'm looking for the short squeeze here, so definitely don't want to be DCAing into this. It's supposed to be parabolic in that direction. Now there's a seller at 30. So that same seller that we saw at 40 is moving down incrementally. Here we go. They can't take him out. Look at that. 30s, rejecting. So the seller of note there moves down from 40s. Okay, we took out the 30s, or did we? Looks like we did maybe there. I don't want to take out too much, so we're still holding a little bit over here. A couple more outs on this bad boy. I want to see if we can get that 55 prints. KDL dang Y. We've just made all-time highs on this bad boy. Let's see if the buying continues to be aggressive. We're up over 200%. You got to make assumptions that whoever's trading small caps has to be looking at this right now, and I think we've got the shorts offside. So if we can really push them here and get that momentum continuing to go, I think we could break into at least 5, seeing how these short squeeze have panned out in the past. So zigging and zagging right now with that 430 and change, 433 and change. That initial seller was at 40. I think they moved down. As you can see, we keep getting these hidden sellers, guys trying to short into this level. So we'll see exactly if we can take them out or not. Keeps moving down their order from the high 30s into the 40s. Let's see if we can continue to move up a little bit. Now there's some selling at that high 38s. Let's see if we can get to 40 here so we can get a better look at that hidden seller that I perceived there to be last time, but we might have to pack our patience. But this is the short could be on, or the squeeze, excuse me, could be on right now. Anything below 4, Joseph, sorry to interrupt you, I'm out.
No, I don't think you really interrupted me at all there, my guy. But we got a lot of good questions in the chat. We'll touch on NVDA here real quick. Starting to pull back. I do think that this thing is going to slowly climb higher. We're still in INTC. Let's see how much we got left of this NVDA trade here. About 60%. Okay, so we're hefty there. We're gonna have to start trimming a little heavier there, Sharif. So that's the look there on NVDA. INTC still grinding higher, something that we like to see. I mean, this thing hasn't really been in play. It hasn't been fitting my style, but it seems the tables have turned here, my guy, because we are starting to run into this potential pivot high. I think this is going to be a big moment for INTC. Don't know too much about the company. I just know it ain't doing good, and when it ain't doing good, I ain't paying attention to it. So here we go. That's true. That's just my style. But here we go on INTC. We'll start with the first question. Sharif, Joe, can you guys take a peek at VERI? I'm long at 250. One of those unloved AI stocks, thinking swing trading at 425. We'll pull that up for you real quick, VERI, and see what it is up to. Jesus. Embarrassing.
The notorious just please us with this lyrical thesis.
There we go. So here we go. Okay, guys, not the most liquid from an intraday perspective at all. Are you killing it over there?
Let's go.
Okay, all right. I'll give it to you in a second. Not too bad on the daily. Not something I'd be long-term invested in because it's just choppy from a technical perspective. Again, just have those targets, have those stops in place. If they get hit, then congratulations. And if your stop gets hit, just reassess and then look to get back in. Nick has another question. Do you guys trade leverage shares?
No.
Excuse me. No?
We trade leveraged?
Leverage shares? Yeah, like TSLA.
Oh, God, yeah.
So that's what I'm getting.
Yeah,
I'm an options trader, so I'm not too sure how that works. If you can explain it, would mean a lot. Thank you so much. Keep up the amazing trades. Appreciate you, Nick. Yeah, so we don't trade options on the show, but we trade leverage derivatives, such as TSLA, which is the long of Tesla, which is trading around 17 or 20 bucks right now. We trade the TQs, which is the 2x leverage of the QQQ index, so the NAS index, and then NVDL. Before it did that split, I would trade NVDL because, again, it was significantly cheaper than trading NVDA. So if that's what you mean by leverage shares, yes, we do trade leverage vehicles, and that is TSLA, NVDL, and TQQQ. There. Yeah, perfect stuff. That's what I got. You're very welcome there, Frederick DeVille. Show them what you got cooking up there, Sean.
All right, man. We just took out the best print that I have so far is at 40, but it's already breached that level. It's gone into the mid 40s. So I perceive the selling really to be at 40s. And if you base it on the closing prints, you can kind of see it my way there. I've only got one more out left. Anything below that 405 area. So I've given myself 10 pennies on the remaining shares. I had my stop below 4 initially. I've moved up my stop now to account for this latest pushback because we could see some profit taking come in here quite aggressively. But what I'm really trying to bank on is to push out whoever is selling in the mid to low 40s. And that's exactly what's been happening. The closing prints are all south of 40 and all the wicks are in the mid 40s or lower. So there is somebody of note selling in and around there. Now, it could be profit taking or it could be newer shorts instituting another position because they've all been squeezed out. We know that they've been squeezed out for certain. I should say that again. We don't know if they're squeezed out, but we know that they're out of the money, right? Because we know that that 420 level was the highest level ever in this stock's history. It only goes back to last June, late May. So shorts are caught offside. They don't have to cover though. They can just be out of the money, right? So we'll have to wait and see if they actually start covering or what's going on up here at this level. So that's what I'm waiting on right now. Let's see if we can make a move, another move back into 40s because we're not even dropping, or not yet anyway, into that single $4 single digit level like 409, 405, etc. So let's see if we can move up. We're kind of waffling. It looks like a bit of a bull flag right now starting to form on KDLY. I'd love to see if this one can really squeeze and take out the top. I'm waiting on the north side of 50. So we're showing 30s right now, mid 30s coming in. We'll see if we can squeeze through that 40 level. Lots of tape action on this one, 150 million shares. I literally talked about this a half an hour ago, and we were south of 100 million shares in the high 90s. Here's that 440 again and again. We keep rejecting $4.40. Really having trouble even wicking above it, let alone closing above that 440. So a seller of note. Someone with an obviously strong hand there, possibly keeping this bad boy lower. And I suspect it's more than one person because there's been multiple levels where, you know, you see that 439, 440 reject, and then you'll kind of see that same seller come back down to 430s with that same short. Now it could probably an algo just basing its trade on the price action. So we'll see if we can take out the levels there. Back off that 4.25, testing that 440 again. I don't know. You never really know with these things, but I think it's just a matter of time till they get blown out. Here's that mid-40s again, and we reject mid-40s again. So somebody very big, very strong, and boom, we take out that level, and we take out the high of the day. Give me my money, man. There we go. KDLY up into the high side now, 214%. This one could be on one, guys. Be careful with this one. There's a seller again in the 450s, but he's getting creamed, bro. Into the high side we go. This is a monster. I'm all out, bro. Yeah.
Bro, 200.
Dude, look where I've been in. Look at these. There's a ton of entries here.
Discredit there. I mean, I didn't even take a look. I was just looking over here. Absolute face slapper. Sharif, but we got something before you send it back to me. I want you to cover something from the super chat here. Yep. Our guy, Nick W. Sharif, thanks for the KDLY in with you. Can you do me a favor and look at A-Lab? I took a swing at 88.89. Good luck there, $5 super chat. And then Patrick DeVille, you guys are doing an excellent job. Thank you, Patrick. $10 super chat. Much appreciated, my friend. We love the contribution.
All right, here we go. Let's look at A-Lab. So just so everybody knows, this is, oh, my bad. There we go, flip back. ALAB. We're going to go to Adair in a second. Astera Labs, $14.25 billion market cap, having traded 4.3 million shares. Today, they provide semiconductor-based connectivity solutions for cloud and AI infrastructure. So interesting there. Let's look at the daily. Let's start off with the daily. Okay, big move up there off the lows at 35, but well off the highs. Okay, so this is interesting here. This has popped up, rejected, it looks like that 110 area, and now we're looking to test those lows. Most notably, though, we are trading in a bit of a range between the 200 exponential and the 50. This could be a flat bottom break if we get back into that 80. I'd like to see how it dances with that 200 exponential moving average at that $80 level because, you know, this is a lower high technically. Obviously, we've got into the high almost at that 150 there, and then this area crest into 110, 115 is a lower high. Could we get a lower low? It's a bit of an interesting one. Intraday, though, let's have a look at the 5. Not much doing today intraday, maybe just off VWAP. I would say you're looking for a swing on this because it's not doing much intraday. We'll get back to more of this when we get back from Adair.
Do have some news here. Rivian taking a little bit of a tumble. Keep an eye on any of these electric vehicle names or companies that make electric vehicles like GM, Ford, and Tesla, though Tesla is not really impacted by this story. Basically, I'm seeing that apparently the Republican senators are proposing a $1,000 tax on new EV purchases to account for road repair costs. We know that this was also something opined on by Sean Duffy, the new head of the DOT, saying that there should be some costs here with regards to road repairs for EVs. So Republican senators actually officially proposing this $1,000 tax. Keep an eye on any EV names or companies that make EVs any vehicle manufacturers here, guys. Also, while we're here, I want to thank you all for getting us to 500,000 subscribers. We reached this milestone yesterday. And this little graphic here is a fun visual of in honor of the 500 milestone. This is every ticker on the S&P 500 trading above $500. So we start here with the largest. These are well over 1,000. Then we get to these ones at the bottom here, just over 500. I had a lot of fun making this. Lots of, other potential spready tickers on watch. So keep an eye here on this 500,000 subscriber milestone post. We have another one on the way, should be released later this afternoon. Back to the Bash Brothers.
I love how you made that specific infographic, Adair, because I know you love the spready tickers, and those obviously are going to be quite spready.
They work out
so shout out to you. Yeah, good look there.
That's it. But yeah, Nimrod, thank you. What a day. TIVC, XOL, KDLY, rode 5 times. You guys rock. 30 shekels, bang, about 12 CAD there. Thank you very much for that one, Nimrod. Enjoy it. Hey, man, glad seeing you in the chat, too. You're in the chat every day, contributing to the cause. So really good look. Random Oddities, best trading show ever. Bears versus Bulls. Let's go. Sharif, Joe, Adara, Sean, Neil, Tisha's in there for some reason. But it's okay.
She's on the show, too.
She's on the show, too.
We should have Tisha
I'll
on,
add
bro.
Ram, Fabian, and Andre in there as well, too. Can't forget about them. So what's for lunch, yo? I don't know.
Ram?
Yeah, I said Ram.
No.
No? Okay, all right, that's all right. Well, she just asked what's for lunch. I was gonna ask her, can you go check in what's for lunch? Because we didn't even get, whoa.
Oh, she's there. She was in the
right,
back,
she was in
bro.
the
and I'm
back,
like, I
man.
wanted to know what was going on. She's in the podcast room.
Work
She's
on
working
stuff.
alone. I wanted to know what was going on. I felt like, we were being left out of something. She's like, yeah, that's my new office.
It's her new office there.
Yeah, I don't
okay,
believe it.
all right, she got the new office. Andre, what'd you say was for lunch?
What's, you're...
Oh, yeah,
There's,
Andre, he has no idea, all right.
what's it called? Something pot pie?
Chicken pot pie?
Chicken pot pie.
All right, I'm not a big chicken pot pie guy there.
A lot of carbs.
Yeah, a lot of carbs there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I've had it once in my life. But that's okay. that's okay.
That's all I care about. I judge meals based on how
the
much carb
carbs. Yeah, on the carbs, man. Everyone is going to buy gold and Bitcoin, but not many people are buying stocks. Trading volume is shrinking. I don't know about that there, Zhao, because the record inflows, like there's just more and more money flowing into these markets. Trillions of dollars still sitting on the sidelines in these money markets. They're eventually going to move over probably into the equities market. So keep that in mind. There's record inflows year over year. The market is definitely not shrinking, especially with these big names like Apple hitting $4 trillion. NVDA, it tapped it, didn't it?
I think it got 3.9.
Did it get there? Okay, so getting close to $4 trillion.
Yeah.
And then you got the big names like NVDA growing as well too. I don't think the markets are shrinking. Buying gold and Bitcoin is not a bad thing at all. You'll get the thumbs up from me on that one. But I think the equities market is here to stay, and it's only growing. The retail space is growing as well too, guys. There wasn't even retail traders really trading at home probably 20 years ago or something along the, I guess John and Neil have been, but there's not as many. It's grown. There's more access to the computers. Like you can grab direct access softwares and trade right from your desk at home. I think this space is only growing, man.
I was watching have you ever seen the show on YouTube, Jay Leno's Garage?
No.
It's interesting. So he has a ton of cars, right? Yeah.
Jay Leno?
Oh, goodness, yeah, he's a super car buff. And so he was doing the review with the main designer and the chief engineer of the new Model Y, the Juniper. And so obviously Tesla putting some respect on Leno's name, sent some big cats from Tesla there, and they did like an hour show on the Model Y.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the new Model Y, that is. Interesting look, lots of interesting new features on that, little subtleties, what we call Easter eggs on the car. So if you guys are interested, obviously having been invested in Tesla, you should know what the products are selling is. So an interesting 1 hour long review. So very thorough. I just want to throw that out there. Jay Leno's Garage. Adair's at the big desk.
Keep an eye here on the market in general. Fed's Bostic talking here, saying that the GDP was more resilient than expected, and also saying that apparently deploying AI will likely actually mean fewer workers are needed in some industries. So apparently pretty bullish on the future of AI, and saying that we did have a resilient GDP print. Also be aware we have an auction here at 1 p.m. That would be the 10-year note auction. This isn't always going to move the market, but it's something to be aware of. Come 1 p.m., 10-year note auction, guys. Back to you.
MP says Tesla makes the worst cars. I was like, I don't think they're that bad. I know. Remember in the beginning, people were talking bare crap about the finishes, and like you'd see like different. You know what I'm saying? There would be like panel gaps and loose parts, but they've really improved over the years. I mean, it's not the same.
A lot of people are saying like BYD. These cars are 10K. But how safe are you truly in them?
That's a good point. Because Jay Lee, the OG Jay Lee says their YouTube's full of videos with these things blowing up.
So again, those safety qualifications probably aren't up to par like they are here.
But I want to say something about China.
For sure.
China, you have the entire spectrum. You can get absolute crap that costs nothing, and you can get the best stuff made. There is literally everything available in China. So if you're an importer or exporter, I don't need to tell you that. You already know that. Adair's got more news, though.
Talking right now, saying that it's difficult to have confidence in any forecast given policy uncertainty across so many dimensions. So basically expressing some economic uncertainty right now is Fed's Bostic, as the NASDAQ here hangs out around this area of support on the 3-minute, that 527.50, guys. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Keep us up to date with the Bosty. He says he needs to keep close touch with business contacts to see how coming policy changes play out. The Fed is sitting tight, he says, until there is more clarity. The Fed will not move until it has enough information to do so. I feel like, maybe we should keep the chatter to a minimum here amongst these Fed chairs.
Like we know, we know the mandate, we know the goals here. Why do you got to continue and just make noise? It's what it is, Sharif, is noise, right? It's just noise, bro. It's just noise.
They spook the markets. Yeah. Like who needs that kind of stuff, bro?
So, yeah, I mean, and the Fed is a separate entity. It's its own entity. Okay, whatever. But yeah, here we go, guys. Bitcoin continuing to climb higher, Sharif. Tapping as high as 55.60 close to there, guys. So that strength is there. I don't know if it's off the news that Powell says, hey, let the banks do what they want. I think that's a fair statement. I mean, what does it have to do? Like, you're still going to have risk measures. Not everything you can do through a bank, right? Like, you only have, from a crypto standpoint, you only have ETH and Bitcoin who are in ETFs, right? So we don't have a Solana or anything other than that. And if you're looking to trade those meme coins, you're looking in a different realm of the crypto space. So here we are. I think this thing is going to continue to climb higher on the session. That momentum and that volume is there. Look at these selling volume candles here, Sharif. Really low. Buyers are stepping in, pushing in that volume. And someone made a very good, valid point in the chat as well, too. The amount of capital that is going to be required in order to move this asset higher is going to be extremely immense, right? So it's like NVDA and Apple now, right? You need a lot of volume because the floats are so large to move the price in a specific direction. And I think that's going to be the same case here in Bitcoin, Sharif.
All right, there's something going on right now. Shout out to Bren Rex. Sorry, bro. I'm trying to figure out the name here. CYN. It's a 20 penny, 19 and change dollar stock, cent stock. But it's really squeezing, and it does have a headline. It looks like they cleared all their outstanding warrants or something like that. That's from 7 a.m. though. The volume did just start coming in though, guys. So the volume really started picking up at around 12:30. We're having trouble with 20 pennies right now. And now, if you've been watching the show for a little bit of time, you know I don't like to trade these sub $1 names. There's reasons for that. There's certain algos that won't trade them south of $1, so they won't participate to the long side when the stock is south of $1. Also, you've got multiple levels that you got to clear where people can post size. We're talking about 4 decimal places now, whereas if it's above $1, we're talking about 2 decimal places. So just a case in point, you can post size at 101, 102, 103. So you can post by every penny. Here, it's literally every 4th. So it makes getting through the levels a bit more challenging. It shouldn't make a difference from a notional perspective, but it ends up doing, okay? So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Thank you, Brenworks, for calling that out, but it's going to have to clear or get a lot closer to $1 for me to trade this bad boy. It's already pulling back a little bit right now. Adara, what do you got for us at the big desk?
To that CYN, Sinjin, no news that I could find, but they do have about a 71% short float, according to Trade Ideas. Also, so much social media attention. We were talking, I saw within a 10-second period, 3 different tweets tagging the name, so that's very significant. CYN look like it's getting a lot of retail attention here in conjunction with that push to the upside with volume. Also, just noteworthy here with regards to the Fed and what Fed Chair Powell is saying. Powell did commit here to one of these lawmakers that he will alert House Financial Services Committee should anyone from Doge, which is of course notable because it's led by Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, try to access the Federal Reserve System. So apparently Fed Chair Powell promised to alert this House Finance Committee should a situation occur where Elon Musk's Doge tries to access the Fed system. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Bring in context. Love that. You get the trade, you get the story. I mean, what else could we do around here? I mean, I don't know, other than Joseph and I just doing the push-up competition right now. I think this is pretty good entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, how much? What else do you want us to do? I'm serious. Like, what else can we do? Like, we
I don't know, bro.
Bring it outside, man. One thing I remember when I first started watching, there was a segment that Sean was doing called "Stalk in the Streets."
Oh, that was amazing. That was him and Fei.
Yeah, that was
this
amazing.
Guy here. Where is he?
Where is he?
Come on, Fei. Show yourself. There he is.
That guy.
Get
yeah,
it, Fei.
That guy. Yeah, I remember him.
He was so angry all the time. He wanted to dunk on everybody. He was not actually an angry guy. He's a fantastic guy. I'm just talking smack. But
yeah, I think that was cool, man. I think that'd be cool. We go down Bay and do a little stalking.
Isn't that?
Go down.
It's sick. People are like, Say that again, Andre?
No. There's no way I'm going to. I try to stay inside as much as I can during the winter, Andre. It would be most definitely.
You don't want to go outside
thing.
in -20 weather and talk to people?
No, I prefer not to. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a miserable individual during the winter, man. I like that heat. And speaking of heat, we're gonna be in some sunshine this time next week. Sure.
Yeah, what a guy, bro. Yeah, what a guy. This guy's going to Jamaica. He just crapped on all of us right now.
So,
he is the one, Canobe, will be filling in for Joseph for a couple of days next week. Wednesday,
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, your boy will be gone next week, so no Joey options for a couple of days, but he's going to get some R&R. Obviously, he's going to come back with a sick tan, and we're going to hate on you even more when you get back.
Exactly. We got some good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Bavish says, hey, guys, just came across you guys an hour back, wondering if you do this live show the entire time from 9:30 to 4. Bavish, we actually do it from 8:30 to 4:30.
To 4:30.
So there you go. You got even more time. This is just half of it, all right? This is the midday. It's Sharif and I from 11 to 2. And before that, you got some absolute superstars in Neil and Sean in the mornings with Brendo and Sharif. And then in the afternoons, there's the superstar. He's trying to
there he is.
You don't want to, you got to hide him. You can't show his face just yet, Bavin, because he's got come 2 o'clock. You're gonna see this guy, and he's gonna put on some monster stuff. So
Katina, man. The people want to know, bro. You're the people's trader. The people want to know.
He's still long
Tesla, but the people want to know how the weights were. Got back from the gym.
A little light.
Don't believe that. Don't believe. Hey!
He's in the push-up comp. He's in the push-up comp now too. There we go.
Katina, man, were you long Tesla, brother? Because you're well in the money right now, almost 4.5%. 337.50. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
he's in the
6,
comp, bro. He
$7 winner.
He's in the competition now. He's in the push-up competition now.
Get it, Katina, man.
Let's go.
Great look, brother. Katina, man, back from the gym. He's putting in work. He doesn't just put in work at the desk, baby. He puts in work at the gym. So shout out to the Katina, man. We got a couple of super chats there.
They're killing it.
All right. Intel, so what's this? Lingering Catapult. Sorry, I had to expand the window to see your name there, brother. Lingering Catapult. Intel worked nicely today, bought 400 shares last night at $21.05 and happily sold at $22. Get it, Katina, man. Great show as always, boys. Cheers. Thank you very much, my man. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate the kind words. Obviously, very happy for you because you're printing up multiple storms on that side. Joseph, we also got another super chat there. Chaz. That just reminds me of Wedding Crashers, bro. I can't, man. You ever watch that show? I mean, that movie?
Movie with Owen Wilson?
Owen Wilson and what's his name? Vince Vaughn and the other guy, Chaz.
Been a long time.
He's Chaz in the show. The guy from Anchorman. Will Ferrell. Thank you, Katina, man. He's in there, and Chaz, he's like the guy. He crashes funerals to pick up chicks.
Okay.
It's like
been a long time since I've
man,
seen
I got a chance.
Yeah.
New fan of y'all. Howdy from Arizona. Howdy back at you, man. Thank you for joining the Joe and I, and the Katina man and I, and Neil and I, all on the show here. Adair's at the big desk. Brendo's on in the morning. We're doing the best we can for you. We have the best production team around, except Ram. Well, that's it. And yeah, we hope that you can join us every day. What's going on over there, Katina, man? 5 on Apple. $7 on Tesla, guys. They're both having a great day today, both Apple and Tesla. Tesla got shellacked yesterday. Apple caught a bit of a tailwind yesterday because of that Baba story.
Yeah, it did.
But we'll have to wait and see how that all works out, Joseph, because, that could just be all smoke screen.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you there, Sharif. Like, we got to take into consideration, guys, here on Tesla, that we were down 6% yesterday, guys, right? Now recovering a lot of this. This is fantastic stuff. Running into some key levels. But if we want to zoom out and see what Tesla's been up to, are we in a turnaround spot? Maybe. This is a nice engulfing candle here. So maybe, and with a heightened volume signature, maybe we bounce here. Because again, we are still quite some times off those all-time highs here, guys. Over 29%. So that's a hefty haircut right there. Oscarito, let's go INTC is right, dude. You were right on that one. I was wrong. Good ad. If you added on that pullback there, congratulations to you because you're killing it. Stick to your game plan, man. I'm not always going to be right. And with that, I don't want you to like hinder your trading or anything. You do you, my friend. And what it seems to be, you're doing it right. So really good ad there. We're still in this name. We took the majority off here, Oscarito, but that's okay. We can still hold on to the remainder, see if we can go and test this high and then potentially go higher. We're all out of NVDA as well, too. Katina Man's in Apple and Tesla, both constructing a new high a day, which is fantastic. But we're out of NVDA, slightly weak. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to chase Apple up here, guys. I think it would do myself a little bit of a disservice, maybe. But I mean, we can set up these risk parameters right here. Oh, I thought that was it. Okay, so yeah, we can set up these risk parameters right here. The RVR is slightly skewed, guys. So about 60 cents I would have to risk to the bottom of this range to potentially gain what? I think at this point you have to have the ability to look at the average true range of that stock and how much is put in this far. So no problem, Oscarito, I got you. Are you able to see the positions of Sean and Neil when Joseph and Sharif are on? I'm not using the mobile feed. Is it more Trader TV Live, Sean, on YouTube to see your positions? So there you go. Pack Rick, go to more Trader TV Live, and then you'll have the ability to see Sean and Neil's positions when they are not on the screen. So, I mean, Sean's been holding that all morning, same position. Yes, Jimmy Donnelly, I got you on that Lucid. Sorry, I missed that request. We're gonna pull it up for you right now. My guy says he has 100 calls right now expiring today, and 5 calls expire in a month at a $5 strike price. I really want to know your thoughts on the 350 strike for Friday. Oh man,
what's wrong?
Dude, I mean, our guy Jimmy Donnelly in the chat, Sharif, has 100 calls on Lucid at the $3.50 strike price. So that's a little bit hefty. We're out of the money right now, guys. So hold on. Jimmy, confirm the strike price on those calls. Are you thinking about buying those 350s, or do you own currently the 350s? Because if you own the 350s that expire on Friday, I don't know, man. I think that's a tough look. That's a hefty gain from where we're at right now for Lucid to get all the way to $3.50. That's going to be a 25% return roughly in a span of a couple sessions. I don't know if Lucid has the power to do that, man. So hopefully you're in the money on those. I just can't give you the nod on those calls, and nor would I be looking to play any form of options in this name. When time is working against you, this is not a stock that you necessarily want to be in. That's just my 2 cents, Sharif. I don't know how you feel about Lucid.
Okay, so I wanna caveat something. Okay, I like their cars. I don't like the stock.
Exactly.
Okay, I've made very clear how I feel about their new car, the Gravity, the Lucid Gravity. It's their first foray into the SUV. They had a very successful Lucid Air, which is a sedan. They have multiple versions of it. It can go from $100,000 to $300,000. Take your pick. The Gravity gonna have a better price point. It's south of 100. It's still a bigger SUV. It's a 7-row SUV. It may not be your cup of tea. I know that I personally don't want a 7-seat SUV, 3-row SUV, 7 seats. I personally don't want anything that big. I have an SUV and I don't want anything, that has a 3rd row. It's just I don't even have a family, right? So I'm looking for something a little bit smaller. So I like how they're getting into the SUV market. We've seen where the demand is with consumers. It is mostly with the SUVs. So I like what they have to offer. I don't like the price of the stock. And there's also a bit of an issue with them, Joseph. They have a lot of money backing them. The Saudis have made it very clear that they're going to continue to fund them. They want to get them out of their infancy, help them become a mature company. But that's also a blessing and a curse. Because when you have that kind of like limitless money that you can keep getting poured in, you don't have, you're not cornered. Yeah, you're not exactly to get it right. You know how they say necessity is the mother of all invention, i.e. DeepSeek blocked them from getting the H100s. All of a sudden they're coming out with better methods. So I don't know how I feel about that whole thing with Saudi, but I like the cars certainly. Whether they can scale and make money, I don't know enough to talk about that, but I want to talk about this.
Ooh,
Apple exploring humanoid and non-humanoid robots, reports your boy Ming Chi Kuo, get it, Adara. So Apple is exploring both humanoid and non-humanoid robots for its future smart home ecosystem, and these products are still in the early stage proof of concept. TF International Securities Analyst Ming Chi Kuo said on X, while the industry debates the merits of humanoid versus non-humanoid designs, supply chain checks indicate Apple cares more about how users build perception with robots rather than the physical appearance. So Apple uses anthropomorphic instead of humanoid. Okay, implying sensing hardware and software serve as the core technologies. The launch of the Apple branded robot, which could be its next big thing, is unlikely to occur anytime soon, he goes on to say, citing current progress in the typical development cycles. Mass production of a robot likely will not start at least to 2028, if not later. In addition, he goes on to say Apple has been unusually open about sharing some of its robotics research in recent memory. He goes on to say this includes a research paper published last month that described a robot that looks similar to the lamp at the start of the Pixar movies. The company is also said to be working on a smart home tabletop robot that has an iPad-like display and robotics arm. Okay, that's a whole lot to take in there from Ming Chi. Obviously, we've seen some of his comments lately be quite bearish about Apple, basically saying supply in China is bupkis. Do you have something to say?
Yeah. No, go ahead. Continue, man. Because INTC, Oscarito, man, this guy was so right. INTC is just absolutely soaring to the top side there, Shreve. Finish that off. Sorry, what you had to say.
So that's really interesting. So we'll have to wait. Obviously, again, he's talking about 3 years down the line at minimum for that. So, nothing to really hold our breath about. But obviously, you want to see that from Apple because our biggest criticism is they've dried up. Right? The innovation has been drying up ever since, Steve Jobs passed away and Timmy C's been at the helm. And he's not really a founder. We've talked about this. He's not the creative guy. He's a good manager. And we've talked about the dichotomy, obviously, between manager and founder, or manager and innovator, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through that again. But that's an interesting look there from Apple. Okay. Trump says he and Putin agreed to begin talks to end the Ukraine war. Seeing that just coming in on the side over here, that's good news. I want to hear that. I'm sick of the belligerencies all over the world, so I'll definitely entertain that myself personally. I don't know how everybody else feels, but that is the look right now. Just saw that on the side. I didn't see this, though. Wowzers, KDLY, right up into 525. My favorite number. High day right now, back down though into 450. But it's still, believe it or not, despite the fact that it's south of 5, it's still holding the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. You'll see that right down here, bottom left corner. It doesn't have any closing prints south of that green line. That is the 10 exponential. So KDLY could be another long here at the $0.50. We're going to give this one a look, possibly get back in. So, yep. That's the look right now. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, just reading what people are saying in the chat about that Apple news. A lot of
what are they
people
saying? Anything positive
nothing
or poop?
Humanoid robots are such a gimmick, boomer trap. I mean, are they though? Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. Gotta admit it, Apple nailed it on this one. Yeah, I think that's the case, man. We talked about the free cash flow and that thing. They can essentially do everything they wanted. But I mean, the Apple Car didn't really work out too good, Shreep, but I think this is kind of, I think this is just a different realm. It can be really game-changing. Optimus, LLMs, you combine these, and you got some really crazy stuff here, guys. Like, imagine having a humanoid robot just moving around your house, doing laundry, sweeping, and doing all that stuff. It probably won't happen in my lifetime, but you never know. Technology is advancing fairly quickly, and I like Optimus, and maybe Rich Tech Robotics, Sharif. But I mean, you think so? 100%. You think a robot's going to be able to do my? I'm not arguing.
In the next 60 years.
Oh God.
60? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be 10
years.
That's borderline. I'm 30.
10 years.
I got another 60. Yeah, I'll take another 60 years. That'll put me at 92. So yeah, all right, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll definitely need the help then, because I mean. But yeah, I agree with that. I think it's coming in that time. Our kids are probably most definitely it's gonna be common. You're not gonna be driving your own vehicles anymore with autonomy, and you're gonna be having other things do your laundry and all those chores that you don't necessarily want to do. Doesn't this Samsung robot already exist? Ask Ram, or was that Ram? Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. Does it exist?
Ram, keep.
Okay.
It's not doing much though, Ram. You know what I mean? Like it's not what we're talking about. I'm just trying to get you those tickers, Ram. Allow me a second over here. I'm just looking for one more. Oh, BYD's up another 8%. I'm putting that one on. Oh, I actually put Chinese ADRs on the first one and nobody liked it. Well, and people don't really trade BYD either. I'm just looking for another ticker for the rundown, guys. Give me a second over here as I look to final. Joseph, I'm going to send her 3. You got 1. Yeah, I throw lift in there. All right, Ram, lift it is. So that I sent you 3. You can just add lift to that one right there. All right. So that's the look. I'm still keeping an eye on KDLY, guys. It's still holding above the 10 exponential. I'm trying to think, is this an area where I can enter? If I get in at that 440s, 450s area, I'd like to see if this one would hold the 4 1/3, because that's where the 10 exponential is. And it hasn't even breached the 10 exponential on a wick basis since 12 o'clock. We're going on an hour now with no breach. So KDLY could be on one right here. This could be a good entry into KDLY here. I'm going to, let's think about this one for a second. Let's see what people are talking about in the chat. Sharat Rahman, Apple needs to get back to impress the consumer. Agree, my friend. I think Sharif Gobrel hit that one on the head. There's no innovation with the company. With that said, I'll take blue bubbles over green every day. Absolutely, you get the money spin there. I will not even respond if I get green bubbles. Steph. Shout out to Steph. Thank you very much for that super chat, Steph. I missed that one earlier. I do apologize. Here's what she asked. Yeah, can you check out Archer, ACHR for me? I have 100, 3 1/4, $10 call, or no, 314. So March 14th, $10 calls. I'm going to give this one to you, Joseph. 99 cents. They have a big sell off yesterday due to share dilution. Can you check Archer?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so she's got 100, March 14th, $10 calls. I don't know what 99 means.
ARCH, right?
Yeah, ACHR.
ACHR.
Yeah, so I'll keep going there as you pull it up, and we'll see what everybody else is saying. My man Jose in China. Okay, Jose, I love when Jose gets excited about China. Yeah. Sebastian, Baidu, and Baba having a look here. I'm assuming you want me to throw that on the rundown. That's already been sent to Ram. But Baba, let's see what Baba is up to on the day. Where's Alibaba? 6% again, Katina Man, for Baba, and another 5.6 for Baidu. China is on one. I mentioned this on the morning rundown. David Tepper added more, Katina Man. He's been adding to his positions there, and I'm going to just show this real quick because, you know, if there's no point to using all this without showing you guys. Yeah, here it is. Let's show them the presentation that I set up today. There it is, Chinese ADRs. There we go. We can kind of zoom in there. So David Tepper's portfolio right now. Okay, he's in JD.com. He's in Alibaba. He's in PDD. 37% of David Tepper's strategic investment in basically all of his company's called, what is it called again? Appaloosa? Dara, how do you say this word? Appaloosa? Appaloosa? Appaloosa Management has also boosted into Appaloosa. Thank you, Adira. 37% of this hedge fund's portfolio is in China. He's also in some ETFs as well, KWEB as well as FXI. So he's very much heavily invested. He got on to CNBC, you'll recall in September, he said buy everything. He was pounding the desk there about China. And so it took a little bit of time for that to manifest. But we're talking about Baba being at local highs here. We're about to take out that September top if we haven't already. Let me have a look on the side chart here, see if we took out that September top, Neil. No, we're still south of it. 121.20. We're 119.80 today. So we're right there. Looks like we're very close to taking out that top on BABA. We'll see how that one does. Joseph, what do you got for Archer?
Yeah. So Archer, she said something about share dilution. So for me, that would be like, did it split or something like that? I mean, I don't really understand that fraction of the question, but she said the average price. I'm looking over here at those $10 calls, March 14th expiry, what she was referring to, or he or she was, sorry, I forget who it was. Steph, yeah, so sorry, Steph was referring to those. I mean, at 99 cents, you're up 25% as of right now. So those are trading at $1.23 almost, right? So again, you have 100 of them. It's up to you. You're in the money, up 25% on those positions. Just be weary of theta, obviously, right? You still have some time, March 14th, approximately 30 days from now. But again, I think you're sitting pretty. We'll take a look at it from a daily perspective here, Sharif, and see what we got going on. Are we in potential breakout territory? One thing that we can look at here is that we are starting to construct higher lows, and that's really important. Basic trend line analysis, you're not going to get too in depth with it. No, I don't want any of those. But here we go, holding that level. You can get out at the breach. You got some time. If it decides that it wants to break this trend, get out. Maybe lock in some profits as well too. I think this is where a lot of individuals ask us. But what we got to do is like you're your own trader at the end of the day, right? You got to write down your game plans, figure out what you want to do, stop losses, profit targets, entries. Write it down, right? And then execute on those. Follow it. And then when that trade is complete, go back and look. Did I follow the exit strategy? Did I follow the take profit strategy? Did I follow the entry strategy? And if you answer yes to all of those, then you're good. You're doing what you're supposed to do. And I think, Steph, that's what you need to do in this case. You're up 25% on that position. That is a face slapper right there. So again, exercise your options, write it down. Well, not literally, don't literally exercise the options, write it down, figure out what you want to do with that position, and I think you'll be doing just fine.
All right, we're back in KDLY, taking some profits here. There's some selling in the mid-60s. I perceive there to be selling in the mid-60s, high 60s. We'll see if this one can squeeze it. Has a hammer candle that did wick below the 10 exponential, but it got bought up super quick. So that, to me, seems a little bullish. I'm super tight on my stop over here. For Prince, anything below 40s, I'm gone. We're not gonna give too much back over here on KDLY. Adair's at the big desk.
Just so you guys know here, the news element of this is Jerome Powell has finished speaking. They actually went a little bit over time. They said they'd have a hard stop at 1, but some of the questions did run a little bit over. Jerome and co have left the building, so now that meeting is no longer happening. So as of right now, no worries with regards to comments from Powell, but Fed's Goolsbee just started speaking here, saying that if we get multiple months like this on CPI inflation, the job is clearly not done. So Fed's Goolsbee saying that the CPI inflation could be cause for concern and the job will be not done if we continue to see these prints. So right now, I guess it's a bit of a one-off, but be aware if we continue to see these higher than expected inflation prints, Fed's Goolsbee certainly sounding a little bit of an alarm where that is concerned. Now, let's take a look here at crypto. We actually had some comments from Fed Chair Powell on crypto. And it's worth noting, I didn't even say anything when he made these comments because this is really echoing comments he's made pretty frequently, going back to the Fed meeting and then also at yesterday's testimony. But basically, he just said that there should be no debanking of crypto, but that banks should be kind of cautious, make sure that, these are legitimate businesses. But if businesses are legitimate, if the crypto transactions are legitimate, there is really nothing wrong with the crypto being held. So I think a really interesting point there with regards to crypto and debanking from Fed Chair Powell himself. This is a weekly chart for Bitcoin, which I wanted to look at because this is a really interesting bull flag. We have almost a double top, very slightly just above that 108 level, but we've had higher lows since that breakout here into these new all-time highs after the election. So it was a great look here for BTC. Also, something interesting in the weekly chart that I wanted to talk about, so in a lot of people's minds, is Doge. I want to see what Doge had done since not the election, but the inauguration, because as we know, that was when we had the instatement of the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as Doge. So if you look at it here, this was the week of the election here, January 20th. Since then, we've had 3 red weeks. This might be the week that we break that streak here, slightly green, but I think it's pretty interesting. Doge might have been a buy the rumor or buy the announcement of the department and sell the news event, because we've really had this nice push up when it was announced. This is actually when we had the Doge announcement here, this sharp volume increase. And then as we've actually had it implemented, DOGE selling off a little bit, guys. Interesting stuff.
Very much for that, Adara. All right, I'm still holding here on to KDLY. What's going over? Okay, so Tesla's breaking through 345 right now. Tesla's up 5%, give or take a couple of points over here. It's on one. Katina Man's long. He's been long since 37. Shout out to him. It's a great trade for the Katina Man today on TSLA. It recovers after that shellacking yesterday that we watched in real time as a result of BYD releasing, their version of driver-assisted technology on all their cars, well, 21 models. And I don't know if it's all their cars, but a car as cheap cheap as 10,000 US dollars. So that obviously kind of puts a bit of a kibosh there on Tesla in China, who doesn't even have authorization to roll out FSD quite yet. So a bit of a disadvantage for them. Probably lose a little bit of market share to BYD. Joseph, what do you got?
Hey, we got the Playmaker poll, my guy. That's what we got. We're going to time it in. People in the chat are reminding us as well, too.
Like it.
Thank you, guys. That just means you're engaged. It tells us that you want to see this. And that's exactly it, guys. I talked about it time and time again. Hopefully, people are collecting data. Look how simplistic this is. I don't know why I always point at the screen like you guys can see. But anyways, trade, entry, target price, exit, stop loss. It's the most simplistic stuff in trading. Just document it, refine the system, and you'll get better. Sharif, trade number 43. Talk to me, my guy.
3, oh, wrong one. Over my bad. I was like, 3. Yeah, we haven't been 3 in a while. 603.80.
603.80.
We're taking everything out for profits at 605.80.
605. Oh, close to yesterday's numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're going to stop out at 602.80.
602.80.
Boom.
602.80.
Add
We're
more to
long
the
there,
data,
guys.
baby.
Bam, add it to the data. Another data point docked up there, guys. So today is the 12th. 12, and we do this here. And then here's the equity curve, guys. So what it is, if you guys are looking to construct this is just cumulative P&L. You construct it how you want. So you start at 0 and then you just add, and then you can just plot this data. I think that's really important. I do that for my credit spreads and not so much my intraday anymore, but definitely credit spreads just to see where I stand, if I'm profitable or not on the month from a passive perspective. But again, cumulative P&L, you can type this in on Excel, Google Sheets, whatever it may be. Start at 0 and then whatever you plot your data and what the profit is there. I know a lot of people in the chat say, Joe and Shreve, can you make a lesson on just like constructing a trade plan and taking profits? Yeah, we can do that for you, Ryan. I think that's a great idea. Maybe I'll look to cook something up, but we're going to talk some options. And tomorrow, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
We got reading the tape, time of sales. The time in sales, I think this is so important. It changed my style of trading drastically, but it's a skill. It's almost an art. They refer to it as an art, and it takes a lot of time to understand it and see what you're looking at, because the majority of the time of sales is noise. So the one thing that we're going to touch on is the time and the place that we want to be looking at it. And that's going to have to do a lot with your system and looking at key features in the tape itself, because I think it's such an underutilized but key aspect to trading, Sharif.
All right, here we go. Joseph, headline, another one for Apple. Apple to bring TV Plus to Android phones in a bid to boost subscribers. We know that Apple TV, or not even just Apple TV, but services in general, highest gross margins for all their product line. We're talking mid 80%. Now, by the way, that services segment in Apple, that's $100 billion a year segment, guys. So that's big with high gross margins, and they're looking to expand it. So here it is. Apple is set to announce that it's expanding the TV Plus streaming video service to Android phones. For the first time, according to people familiar with the move, the company will unveil an Android app for TV Plus as early as Wednesday. I didn't even know there wasn't one. I had no idea, said the people who asked not to be identified because the move isn't yet public. Apple TV Plus, which launched in 2019, has been reserved for the company's own operating system and third-party TV platforms like Roku. The move marks the rare occasion when Apple is offering services on Google's Android, its biggest competitor, obviously, in the smartphone software. Though Apple does provide its music service as an Android app, it typically tries to keep customers within the bounds of its own product ecosystem. So that is a headline there for the dead one, Apple. We'll have to see, does that move the needle? Well, we're knocking the door at 236, so I don't think the market's taking it that badly. Separate headline here. Trump's DOJ picks as resource a big factor in tech cases. Is he talking about Pam Bondi? No, Gail Slater, a veteran antitrust attorney and advisor to President J.D. Vance, would lead the DOJ division that enforces laws against illegal monopolies. Okay, I'll have to read this one later. That's not that important. Well, maybe it is, actually. So that came in not that long ago. So, yeah, I don't know. Tez, you're right. Apple sucks. Stupid closed systems. At the same time, I get what you're saying. A lot of people don't like that. That's how they're able to offer really, sound software, sound hardware. It doesn't end up glitching all that much because of the closed ecosystem. So it's a bit of a blessing and a curse. I get your point. You're not wrong there. All right, let's see what else people are talking about. Apple news coming thick and fast today. I don't know why, Los Polos Hermanos, but that's what it is, man. We're just reading it out. Oscarito says, I got a Samsung TV for free. Throw some my way, bro. I want a Samsung TV. Well, I have a Samsung TV.
Do you have a Samsung?
Yeah.
What size?
The one in my bedroom is 42, and then I have an RCA 75 in the living room.
Dang, same.
Yeah.
I got the 75.
I got that one as a sick deal. I paid 4 bills for that.
No way. I paid 5. We paid like 5 for our
not bad.
Yeah, for a 75.
There you go.
But no TVs in the bedroom, man. You can't have no TV in the bedroom.
I got a TV in the bedroom, Joseph. I don't like to admit it, but that's how I go to sleep.
Yeah, that's how you just turn on background noise.
Yeah, no, but then I shut it. Right before I go to sleep, I actually shut it. I don't sleep with the TV on.
Yeah, I can't sleep with the TV.
No. That's no go for me, bro. No. Yeah, I don't think that's a good thing, though, either. You're not supposed to sleep with the TV in the background. The lights and stuff, it doesn't disturb your sleep?
No, big time. That's why I can't do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I don't do it, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
I have white noise in the background, though.
Do you?
Yeah.
I used to have a
Google speaker.
Like a water fountain, just like one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a little small water fountain in the basement.
Same crap.
Yeah, same stuff there.
So that's what the look is right there. So we'll see what everybody else is talking about there in the chat. Let's see. Anybody else? Sharat Rahman, Sharif, Joe. How do you guys feel about March, April call for Google with a strike of 190 to 195? Bro, I think the higher, man. Google's going to recover off this, man.
With what he's talking about right now is he wants to buy a far out the money call right now, Sharif. So he's thinking about, so we're trading
why is it that far out the money?
Well, because he's looking to gain time value, but I don't think, what the thing is though, so he wants the appreciation in the contract that will consist of the time value, right? But I don't think that's the play on Google, to be honest with you, Sharat. One, it's not going to give you that much, like you don't have time. I always say buy time, but I understand what your game plan is, but the volatility in in Google, it's dwindling, right? I went on yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, I was talking about a trade on it when it's kind of an option seller's market, and I think that's the case here in Google. I'm not saying like short calls or anything along those lines, is that premiums are heightened. So right now, if you go to buy the 195, the average true range is increased, so the premium is going to be increased, right? For me, I'm looking to swing trade this, but if I'm going long Google, it's via leaps, right? I don't want to have to worry about time on this name, and the volatility isn't there for it to appreciate that quick. Again, you're talking about March, April. You got some time if you go to the latter half of that being April, but that's just, again, you got to write down the game plan and accept the fact of what you're willing to do. I like to swing trade in Google, but maybe not necessarily the game plan of buying a 195 out the money with only a month out, right? It may not hit that. I mean, it's only $10 from here, but then again, if you're looking to gain that extrinsic value, that's fine. But then for it to exceed that, if you gain some, you need to get out of that quick if it just hovers around those levels, and then look for it to appreciate after if you're not out of that trade, and then that's when theta will really start to kick in, especially closer you get to expiration.
All right. Guys, KDLY is, I think it's breaking down now. I don't know if the trade is over. I'd like to see what it does at 4, but it now has lost the 10 exponential, what looks like to be on a closing basis. There goes the flush right down into 4, what was that, 410, 412. The aggressive selling is coming in. Recall that all-time highs prior to today is 420. The all-time high currently right now 525. I'd like to see what it does at 4 for the whole dollar level. It's also awfully close, to the 20 exponential moving average on the 5, a level that I look at sometimes, not all the time. I like to see those deeper retracements sometimes on the large caps pull into the 20. I don't often use them for the small caps. It's typically VWAP and the 10 exponential, as well as price action, support, and resistance. So that's my move with the small caps, but it looks like the selling is coming in quite aggressively right now, guys, on KDLY. And somebody was asking me in the chat earlier, hey, what's going on with KDLY? Should we sell? So I really wanted to take this opportunity to mention my strategy and my thinking about these small cap gappers. These are not companies, guys, for the most part, that I would hold overnight, okay? These are intraday trades. They're very aggressive to the high side, but they're equally aggressive usually to the downside when they pull back. And so when I trade these, I'm never trading them on the merits of the company's fundamentals. I'm Almost never. Sometimes I don't even look at what the company does, and I don't care. Okay, it's a technical trade based off a key level or moving average or whatever. Okay, so that's where I really want to stress. When I get into these names, and because there's so many newer viewers, I'm never vouching for the fundamentals, for the actual. What's the word I'm looking for, Joseph? For the merits.
Yeah, the merits,
of
the fundamentals of it. You don't really care.
No,
exactly.
not at all. Not at all, guys. These are technical trades. It's not like trading Apple. It's not like trading Tesla. These are real companies with real revenue and real customers. And obviously, these companies, I'm not disparaging them, but they haven't reached that level yet. So I'm in it for an intraday trade. And I won't even hold it usually longer than like half an hour, 20 minutes. These are scalping style trades where you get in large size at a key level. You're looking to scalp out as it moves up. Don't typically hold these. I really want to stress that because I know we have newer viewers and I don't want them to ever think that I'm investing in these companies or holding them overnight or taking them as swing trades. I really don't do that. Shout out to Tisha as well. So she knows exactly what I'm talking about there. John Manalak, Rigetti. My knees are heavy. Let's have a look at Rigetti. It's been a minute since we looked at Rigetti. Look at Uber, bro. Unreal moves on Uber. Look at it, Katina, man. It's just,
man.
Uber's a dang rocket ship. It's going to break 80. Up another 2.25, man. Yeah, there he is. Katina Man's riding a cow. I like that. It's a cash cow. That's why, because that was cash. It's a bull. My bad. Oh yeah,
bull, buddy.
Yeah, let's have a bull, buddy. Get it. Let's have a look at Rigetti. I saw some black and white. Hit that again, Katina Man. Let me have a look at that.
It's a bull, riding the bull, man.
Well, he's got a little black and white there. That's fine. Now, Rigetti looks real good today, though, guys. No, seriously, up 9.25%. Great technical hold here at 1190. Look at those wicks into 1190. That's not by accident. That was a previous area rejection, that 1040. We topped out right at that 1190 area. Lo and behold, when we pull back from that 12.25, look where we're bouncing off. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Right off that 1190 area. Resistance flips to support. We've seen this kind of sideways S pattern all the time. It is kind of what technical analysis is. So Rigetti looks good today. I'd like to see this is already putting in higher lows. Look at this area trough over here at the candle that we printed at 1250. Every successive wick higher than its predecessor, and now we're making higher highs. It's not just a higher low situation. Now we're starting to put higher highs. Good look for Rigetti right now, the quantum computing name. Not a small cap gapper, guys. We're talking about a $3 billion market cap right now. $2.91 billion has done an ample amount of shares on the day. About 61.25 million shares done already. And we haven't even come into power hour quite yet. So Rigetti in play certainly today. I would have picked it up off that 1190. Didn't have eyes on that. Is there a headline? I'm looking. There is no headline today for Rigetti. Maybe from yesterday, but certainly not from today. Going to keep an eye out on that one. And there goes KDLY breaking through 4. When you have a feeling about these bad boys, you do have a feeling. Now I want to see, does it hold 4? Because this could be an interesting area. We did reject 4 before Katina Man. We were up into that $4 level. We were dancing here with 394, and then we kind of finally cleared it. That's how I got in on the umpteenth time. But we're going to see here if 4 holds, I could certainly be persuaded to weasel in. But another level I wanted to tell you guys about on KDLY, because it could still be in play, around 3.25, 3.33. That's where VWAP is hanging out right now. And these bad boys, I keep an eye on VWAP with these small cap gappers because they're good areas of support and resistance. Joseph.
Yeah, good stuff there. A couple questions in the chat. Mr. Panda says, Joseph, what level of options do you need? I trade scalping and I am a buyer and I use one option strat, i.e. straddle. Thanks again. Yeah, just a little more depth. Like, what do you mean? What level of options do I need for what specific strategy are you asking? Just put that in the chat. Don't think your question didn't go unnoticed. And then we're also seeing, I think it's, what is it, AIFF. I think this is more Sharif's realm here, but I'll touch on it here real quick. AIFF. Does it have an additional leg? We will take a look here. I mean, look at these past couple sessions. It goes from being essentially e-liquid, Sharif, to just putting in these monster runs. So let's see what we got going from trough to peak.
Oh.
Wow, 364%.
In 2 days.
Yeah, in a couple of days, literally. That is absolutely insane. I mean, that momentum isn't necessarily completely gone, but you can just see the extreme amounts of volume, the exuberant volume here, Shreve.
Sure.
And then the volume starting to dwindle. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. Okay, I don't like one thing I do like is this breakout volume, but I also don't like that this inverted hammer right here, shooting star, can be extremely alarming, especially if that volume signature starts to pick up a little bit, that volume picks up, and then we head to the downside. So here's your risk profile on this, right? So if you're going short, stop out at 14s, whatever, give yourself a little room, not right at the 15, call it even flat. And if you're going long, stop out right here around $10. And if those trigger, then thesis invalid, and that's okay, because look, we'll use an example of this thing previously. Look at this hammer here, right? And it moves higher, and then it takes some time for it to break, and it didn't even break that deep. And again, inverted hammer heads to the downside. So if this print closes inverted, just be weary of potentially more downside. I want to see if Mr. Panda touched on. You have options levels here in the US, right? Like I like to buy calls in our puts for quick scalp does. So what level of options do you need? I mean, level 2 or level 3? Okay, yeah, so no, I don't use level 2 if that's what you're referring to. I don't use level 2 for options. That's just strictly intraday, right? Not strictly, you can look at level 2. But again, I don't use that for my option strategies because it's usually longer term plays. So the level 2 isn't as effective as it may be for you who are trading options from a daily perspective. But Shreve, you're building something over there, man.
You know, we had this segment.
That. Pull it up, man. What are we building
Yeah,
today?
I just want to mention, we're going to do it in a hot second, but Joseph, Big Bear AI is breaking out, guys. We're up 17 and a quarter. We just got a big boy move through that 9 and a quarter area, and I believe we just did print the high of the day. 945 HOD on BBAI. Trades on the NYSE, by the way. What a beautiful looking bull flag from that open right at 930. We move up, we do the consolidation dance, we pull back in a little bit below 9, we hold 880, it looks like, and there's a continuation. We could be on a second bull flag here. We could see maybe 25%, give or take. We'll see. We're already making that new pull right now. So the breakout, I would submit to you, is around $9. Why? Because when we look for that, the breakout of the flag or the pennant, whatever shape it is, it's usually below the trend line. Sometimes you could say it's above the high. It really depends on the shape, but I'll submit to you, I think that new flag, the new pull for the flag starts at around $9. It's squeezing right now. Here comes the high of the day. As I mentioned, 945 HOD on BBAI, and it's right there right now. We'll have to see if there is selling of note. I can see already multiple lots posted at 45, and we're 3 pennies away from it. So it does look like there are some sellers in and around there. Trade it carefully. Big Bear AI, good luck. Now, we were asked about Lucid earlier. I gave my opinion on the cars. I didn't want to give my opinion on the car company as an investment because, well, I don't know enough. But this is the car I'm talking about. This is the Lucid Gravity. We've been seeing this for a while. They've been talking about this for a year and a half. They're starting to finally deliver these, obviously, in the United States. Not available in Canada quite yet, but we do have some new information on the Canadian side of things, the starting price, et cetera, but we can't order them quite yet. So look at this. The base on this monster, 828 horsepower. Bro, I mean, these electric vehicles are single-handedly ruining horsepower for everybody. When you had over 500 horses, you were like, okay, you were top tier. Now it's like if you're not pushing 1,000 horses, you're nobody. I mean, the Model X.
Unlimited torque, no?
Unlimited torque, too. We'll build this when we get back from the big desk. Adara's got something for us.
Rumble being mentioned here by the White House press secretary, apparently. I'm not seeing any details on what this mention was, but it is worth noting the White House apparently opened a Rumble account pretty recently, so keep an eye on RUM. It's getting a nice little bit of volume here into the afternoon.
All right, here it is. All right, so let's have a look. We'll just do a little bit of a turnaround. So I know some people are gonna say it looks like a van. Neil says it's ugly, and I happen to agree that it has van-esque characteristics, and the reason is because it's got that third row. It's a 7-seater, right? So they had to extend the back. In addition to that, the EVs have to have that teardrop shape to become super, what's it called, aerodynamic, because, I mean, that's what they base everything on. Let's look at the front. I like the front. The front looks good. The back looks good. The side.
I like that profile, that side profile.
You like that profile?
Yeah, I like that side profile.
I don't like how it gives off van vibes at the back. That's my only beef with it. But can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Look where the wheelbase and the driver's seat is. So it's kind of hard to see here, but there's this thing in car engineering where your wheelbase versus where the start of the windshield is. And apparently they were able to move that up because there's no engine in the front. So because they were able to move that up, they're able to give you more room in the cabin. And that's something that EVs can do that ICE vehicles can't do, apparently. Let's have a look at the interior here. Now, this is kind of where it all goes north. This is beautiful. That's a full contiguous screen on the top. And look at this. With this screen up here, you can take stuff from up here and throw it down into the bottom screen, which I love. So you can have multiple things. You can have like your Apple CarPlay on the top, and then you could have whatever nav, anything else you want on the bottom. So you have multiple display screens that are functional. Obviously, the middle component is for the driver information. So you're gonna have your speed, as well as your driver-assisted technology, blah, blah, blah. This stuff is touch screen, but there's only so much you can customize it. But this is what I love about it. And then to add even more interesting stuff, you have physical buttons, which you barely get with cars anymore, especially like the Teslas. They don't have any buttons. They took off the stocks. So this is the kind of the look. Let's go in the interior.
That thing. We didn't build it yet, though.
No, not yet. Yeah, we've been loafed in a little bit. We got some time to kill here, Joseph. I don't know why this is not letting me look at this. Okay, so.
I mean, I understand the minivan aspect, but then you got that nice. I mean, yeah, it's a nice car, man.
And look at that. Look at that, dude. I mean, the windshield goes to the top like the Model X, which I think is so cool because you can kind of see everything's like around you, right?
Exactly.
All right, so let's get this design on the road. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to go to Adair before we design this. Get it, Adair.
Thank you there, Sharif. Just be aware of the NASDAQ. We have comments here coming from the White House press secretary basically saying that apparently Trump wants interest rates lower, which we knew. He said that outright over Truth Social. But also, this is interesting too. White House press secretary Leavitt saying that these reciprocal tariffs will be coming before the visit of India's Prime Minister Modi. So I looked up the timing of this. Apparently, he left France for the U.S. 2 hours ago. So this visit is pretty imminent here, guys. But apparently, we're getting a reciprocal tariffs announcement prior to that visit. It's unclear the timing of that, but just be aware here that apparently it seems like it's going to be pretty tight timing. We're going to be getting these reciprocal tariffs very soon, guys.
Very much for that, Adair.
Interesting point here, Sharif. Foxhammer says having an engine block in front of you is safer in a wreck than an empty trunk. Front trunks crumple too much.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
that's very interesting. But like my understanding is the Model Y is one of the safest cars out there because of its low center. Well, EVs in general.
Yeah, it doesn't like flip over. But
because
what
the
happens
battery.
When you go
well, that's the thing.
Right,
the head-on collision. We'll have to actually look into that. That's a great point,
when you
though.
drive it into the wall, right? You don't have.
I don't want to drive it into the wall, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. That makes absolute sense. All right. Joseph, what color are we getting? What kind of lame colors are these, bro?
Let's exercise our
Where's the blue at?
We can't go in the blue. Let's go in the middle.
Say that again, Adara? Shiny one, like a metallic color?
I think the black looks sick.
All right, how about this?
Oh,
you like that
let's
one?
go in the middle one here, though.
Middle one?
Yeah, the top middle. Yeah, let's see what that. Nah, maybe that gives me Range Rover vibes, though.
Yeah, okay. I like the white on black. I'm sticking with this. So this is my car.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right, then we're gonna go. Are we doing stealth appearance or are we doing platinum? I gotta tell you, I don't want that brushed aluminum. I like that black on the top. That's bad. That's bad right there. And then here's the thing, Joseph. Before we start choosing the wheels, I gotta let you know that the larger the wheels we go, the worse performance we get.
That's okay.
So the range drops.
As long as we look good, yeah, that's all.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. But we're getting EVs. We have to worry about that. All right. So watch this.
Yeah.
So we have 450 miles worth of range with these wheels, right? We click that bad boy. It goes 407.
I could sacrifice a couple like.
I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with you on that one. And let's do the interior. What do we got over here? I'm gonna go tan.
You're gonna go with the tan?
I'm gonna go with tan. Tan on black. Tan on white with black?
Selena's a really tan person. She's one of those neutral individuals. Yeah, Selena. She is.
Selena, my
right? Yeah. But again, I think this gets outdated too quick. I don't love the brown here on the dash. I think we stick with the black interior.
Let's look some others. So there's some gray there. I don't know about that. The black looks good. We got a couple of blacks here. So we have Mojave Purelux Premium. And that comes with some wood there on the dash, Joseph. So
I'm going with the all black.
Last but not least, there is this weird OJ color. Yeah, let's go with the Mojave Black.
Yeah, all right, it's your
and then
car.
the seating. Okay, so you can get this bad boy in a 5-seater configuration with a monster trunk, or you can put the 7-passenger there, and that's going to cost you $2,900 USD. Now, the beautiful thing about the 7-passenger is you can fold the third row.
Okay.
So you can hide that bad boy. Well, I'm going to stick with the 5. Who wants to cough up $2,900 for something that they're not going to use?
When we got the money, we can do it. We can.
We're only at 102,000 US dollars right now, Joseph. Let's take it easy. Yeah, exactly. All right, now the driver assistance system. This is where they make their big boy money. You got 3 options here: $1,500 US dollars for the Drive 2 Premium. That doesn't sound good to me. I want the Pro, baby. Let's see, what do we get with the Pro? How come it's not telling me what we get over here? That's kind of lame. All right, the sound system, Surreal Sound Pro. I gotta do that. I'm an audiophile. Dynamic handling package. I don't want no handling. Technology package upgrade. Look at this. This is how they rinse you. $3,200, and I don't even know what I'm getting for this. And then comfort and convenience package, towing package. Do not need that. Review order. How much are we paying here, Joseph?
Let's see what you got here.
We're at the following price: $115,875 US dollars. They want $1,000 today, and they want their $75 documentation fee. Don't know what the hell that is. We haven't even included sales tax.
We can get that waived for us, for sure.
I bet. I would hope so.
Yeah, we can get that waived.
I would hope so. So that's the look right there. A light $115,000 car, but to be fair, I did add a lot of options there. $6,750, $2,900, $3,200. We added $1,000 for those metallic. We added $3,500 for those wheels, and we added $2,900 for that premium interior. So we definitely juiced up this car. That's another version of Build Your EV. No, I like the car. I like the car, but I think you know, they really get you on the upgrades there, which is kind of what they do, right?
That's all right.
Yeah. What are you looking at there?
Yeah, so 2NY asked me, said, Joe, why are you all out of INTC? Well, I ran out of shares, my guy. That was the trade at the top here. So that is INTC in at VWAP 21 and then out here at the 22s. So that's the only reason why. Yeah, exactly. Silent alert. Thank you for that. What do you got going on there, Katina, man?
He's Lyft. He was yelling about Lyft there.
Lyft. Okay, Lyft. Let's see what Lyft is up to here real quick, Sharif. LYFT. Is that a 9? No, it's not. Okay, so yeah, moving higher. I mean, just reading a little bit about this. Again, really starting to pick up some steam, recovering a lot of those losses. I was actually short this thing last night and covered in the morning, which was really nice. So it worked out, rebound. Yeah, so after the hours, I was just watching it and then decided to short, just this basic strategy I have, and then covered it bright and early as soon as I opened my eyes. A nice look, but as of right now, recovering, still negative on the session streak, down about 5.5% on the day. But again, regaining a lot of that ground that it lost. But here we go. Someone in the chat was asking about, they said, I have 100 Walmart calls at 103. So again, he paid 33 cents for them. I think that's a good look. For me, they expire on Friday. You bought them for 33 cents. They're now worth $1.20 something, or $1.15. So coming down slightly in value, especially coming into that expiration date. Theta's really going to kick in, right? So you're not quite fully like enough extra intrinsic value. So what you want to do is you want to just lock in those profits, in my opinion, and then just be done with that trade because you bought those out the money, not quite in the money yet, or they are in the money, but again, not enough to gain that value that you get in extrinsic value. Sharif, we got, oh, sorry, I'll cover this super chat and then I'll send it to you. Kunasia, sorry if I butchered that name, sleeping on BlackBerry. Let's take a look at BlackBerry. Not really one that I trade too often. Oh, whoa, okay, that's a daily perspective here. Sharif,
that's the daily?
That's the daily here on
I need explanations.
On BlackBerry.
You're the
this thing has gone parabolic on this session. Fantastic look. Only one small breath in this name, but again, up a nice trade, up nice on this session here, guys. But yeah, not something I trade from a day-to-day basis.
No, but we got to pay some bills, Joseph. Newer traders, listen up. The first month, it's free. That's right, we're waiving the fees. You get to trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to elite trading experience. You can analyze, you can strategize, and then hopefully after all that, you'll be able to capitalize by using the best platform out there. I'm talking about eSignal. It's got everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts. You can predict better with backtesting, which is offered on the system. It's got reliable real-time data, global markets literally at your fingertips. It's an all-in-one platform, so don't miss out right now, guys. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, you will scan that QR code in the bottom right corner of your screen, or go down to the link of the description of the link and the description of the video and click the link there. Shout out to the great folks at eSignal. And you've obviously been noticing I'm using that platform right here. It's got everything. And I even got the scanner turned on, Joseph, which had not been turned on. But shout out to the great folks there responded. Now, the only thing we're waiting for is for that options chain on your part.
We need that, man.
We'll get that as soon as you like, man. Sector City. We got Forex Watch. I got my Mag 7 names. I got my small cap gappers.
The options chain would be sick, right? Because then we can actually construct, be like,
Exactly.
hey, this really...
We'll get that.
Yeah.
So this is the look on Lyft. The Katina man was yelling about this one. The Katina man is short 1390 on Lyft. That's a great entry, dude, especially because that 1419 high of the day. Look, Lyft is in earnings. I don't know. I want to say winner, but it's actually a loser because we're still below yesterday's print. We closed out at around 1440. This is the earnings reaction. It did pop up, and then we did end up selling off. So it was interesting, and we can talk a little bit about why Lyft did what it did. Let me bring in my notes over here so you can see. A lot was asked about from them about the possible effects that autonomous driving would have on their market share. And the CEO, David Risher, he didn't say anything that bad. He said, in fact, autonomous vehicles he looked as a growth driver. He says Waymo's self-driving cars have not taken market share from Lyft in San Francisco, as has been widely reported. And in fact, he went on to suggest that the market is expanding rather than shifting. So it's interesting there. He also went on to talk about his autonomous vehicle plans. So that what they plan on doing in Dallas, specifically, don't know why Dallas, but by 2026, they want to use mobilized technology in a fleet of over 1,000 vehicles owned by Japan's Marubeni. Hope I didn't butcher that. They want to deploy thousands more in other cities. He says that these AVs, autonomous vehicles, are expensive assets, so he's looking at partnering with another company to finance vehicle ownership. The company reported, this is probably why it sold off, lower than expected Q1 gross bookings. They reported 4.05 to 4.2 billion. The street wanted a little bit more than that. When it came to their actual Q4 results of 2024, they beat easily there. Well, not easily. The revenue was 1.55. The street wanted 1.56, but net income did come in at 61.7 million, which when you compare to last year, they lost 26.3 million. So they're now profitable like Uber. And if you're wondering, well, why are you so excited about profitability? Well, Uber took like 10 years more to become profitable, and they're very profitable now. But yeah, so it's been a hard row of hoe for some of these ride-sharing companies to get profitability. So let's keep an eye out on what's moving right now, guys. It looks like the Mag 7 definitely is on one, with the futures literally recovering the entire move from the sell-off that we had this morning when we got the higher than expected inflation print. Look at that drop. We were at 21,850. That was the overnight high. And then we dropped in a swift motion. I love this. I love how we drop like in 1/10 the time that it takes to recover back to the high side. So funny how that works. We're back above 21,800, guys. In fact, with the after the bell high now being 21,826. So we reclaim almost the entire move that we sold off. We're actually green right now, barely on the NQ, up 0.02%. So the NQ March contract recovering after the sell-off this morning. And as you could probably guess, the Mag 7 in general have recovered with the overall market. Let's have a look at the Mag, as well as Netflix and Uber, which I've included in these as well. Looks like the Monster Meta trading at the highs, guys, with another all-time high at 725.76. This thing has a green days in a row. That's insane. Let's have a look at the daily here on META. Show yourself.
Show yourself.
How come this is red? That's. I was reading this morning that this was 18 green days in a row. So these are 2 red days over here, Joseph. I need explanation. Gaps up and closes below, still up on the day, but it closes down. Is that what you meant? It did actually make newer highs on those red days there, so your point well taken there. But yeah, these 2 days look like they are kind of outside days, but in general, you guys get it. This is up and to the right. Meta's a monster. We'll have to see how far this one continues before we kind of move back down. You know one we haven't looked at today, Joseph?
What's that, my guy?
Palantir.
Oh.
Let's see what PLTR is up to, because this thing's a dang rocket ship. What are we doing today on Palantir? We're up 4%. That's what we're doing. Is it? Tell me this is not an all-time high again, man.
Leader.
It's insane. Well, we're close, Katina, man. We're real close. At 118.5, that's all-time high. That was 7 a.m., though. That's a pre-market print, so that could be bogus, Katina, man. Yeah, well, this is the highest we've ever been after the bell. So the trend on Palantir continues with the higher lows and higher highs. I mean, now we're talking about a $266 billion, a quarter trillion dollar market cap for this company. What's the PE? 600. Not a big deal. Don't ask those kind of questions.
But at what point does multiple expansion come into play, Sharif?
Well, I mean, brother, we need to see a couple of earnings reports where we get close to some of these, but I think it's future value, right? Yeah. That's what we trade. Right, that's why you invest, right? It's future value. Palantir obviously is, so I was reading an interesting article. Have you ever heard about like the hawks in the government that are very pro-war? It was kind of like the Bush administration. Bush was very pro-war.
Pro-war that they don't fight in?
Yeah, like Donald Rumsfeld, Secretary of Defense, very pro-war. I mean, he had like a bunch of other, Condoleezza Rice, very pro-war. We used to call those guys the Hawks. Now there's a new group called the Neo-Hawks. And these Neo-Hawks are supposed to be like the guys that don't want those $300 million airplanes, the F-22s and the F-35s, but they want the Palantirs. They want those AI drones. They want those autonomous vehicles that are way cheaper in cost, but are more effective in warfare. They're calling these guys the Neo-Hawks. Now, I don't know if that's going to stick.
Well, but I mean, if Alex Karp says he wants to be able to detect organic matter, so like you'll just have droids that are just sniping people from who knows where.
There you go. There you go. That's kind of the look there. So it's, yeah. And obviously, we don't like to champion war, but that is a fact of life. So, yeah, you're going to have to deal with that. All right, guys, so that's the look right now. Fedora the Explorer, I love that name. Palantir is data analytics company masquerading as an AI company. They don't buy any AI chips. Drop the cash for that. Look, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know what kind of chips they got there. Maybe I can do a quick search on that. But it doesn't seem to me like they were one of the hyperscalers.
From
certainly
an AI
not.
Perspective,
right?
well, I don't know. So why would Dan Ives call it like the Messi of AI?
No,
like
but hyperscaler
in the software has to be
fantastic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I think they're like the actual application of AI, right? Because now we're starting to see software AI and physical AI, right? With the robotics and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Guys, I'm sorry, I don't have a trade on right now.
Sorry, me neither. There's not much going on, Sharif. But as of right now, I think we're going to touch on some of the earnings plays this evening. So what we got cooking up later today with Sean and Adara, is it Sean and Adara, I believe? We got Hood, Reddit.
Neil
and Adara. So we got AppLovin. It was popular for a little bit. Reddit, I think, is going to be a big report. And Hood as well, too. All right, I think Reddit may be one of the bigger ones, more anticipated earnings releases. But here we go. Looking at the expected move, guys, we'll see what the options market's pricing in. We got about a 14.1 expected move on Reddit. So let's pull up our options chain and see what we got going on for open interest as well too, because we want to be able to scope those high levels of open interest in these underlyings, because when those prints come out, it attracts a lot of the traders, right? The algos are attracted to these high levels of open interest. So those are open contracts. So as of right now, expiring February 14th, guys, the highest level of open interest on RDDT is sitting at that 230 strike price, that whole dollar, right? 230 strike price on RDDT. The next level is going to be 250. So that's a hefty move there. But again, options market pricing in a 14% move. So 1.1 open contracts at 230, and then 1.5 thousand open contracts at 250. We're going to take a look at the put side, a little heavier on that side. So 215 will be the next highest levels of open interest, 1.5 thousand open contracts, and then the next is 200 with just under 5,000 open contracts as of right now, with a 14.1 expected move. But let's see what Adair is up to.
And you guys know I like my deep dive, so I did actually look into this, Sharif, with regards to Palantir and chips. It actually has a bit of a relationship with two semiconductor companies. One of them is Micron, the other one is, shockingly enough, Merck. Yes, that's right. It is one of the branches of Merck. That is the pharmaceutical company. They do have a semiconductor side as well. Basically, Palantir's Athenia platform has been affiliated with both Merck and Micron. So that is Palantir's semiconductor connection, to the extent that I could find one, guys. Back to you.
Interesting. Thank you very much for that, Adair. That does, make a whole lot of sense, because we haven't heard about, your boy Alex Karp showing up at NVIDIA's headquarters and trying to break down the door and get some H100s there, which I wouldn't be surprised if he was doing. So here's some of the headlines there, guys, on BlackBerry, because we were talking about it earlier, and I will submit to you guys, you should probably have a look at the BlackBerry chart, both the daily and the weekly. It's very interesting. We're not going to vouch for this, obviously, but looks like BlackBerry QNX has partnered with Pi Square Technologies to train thousands of software engineers in India, addressing the global demand for embedded systems developers. The multi-year initiative, part of QNX's expanded QNX Everywhere program, offers free access, to QNX Software Development Platform 8.0 and integrates QNX tools into engineering curricula. This collaboration aims to equip students with industry-ready skills for careers in automotive and aerospace sectors. Yeah, okay, it's nice, but I bet you there's probably a bit more of a deeper reason for this, because we've been breaking out on BlackBerry for a while now. I would submit to you guys, we have been really making moves here with outsized volume since the beginning of December. It looks like, that December 9th, that we have outsized volume again, December 20th again, with good volume there. So we'll keep an eye out on BlackBerry. This could be very interesting here as a possible swing trade. Let's bring in some other small cap gappers that we've had on the hit watch list today. CFLT. I didn't get a chance to trade this one, and I'm a little upset that I didn't get to trade this one, because this has been very predictable. It had a nice consolidation area here where I could have gotten in and then known if it had broken below that level, I could have weaseled in. It also held in the 20. It's at the high of the day right now. It just printed 37.30. It's up 24%, give or take. Very nice move on CFLT. It looks like it was an earnings winner yesterday, because this thing spiked up big one. Dara gave me the shout out there, so that means it was an earnings winner. It moved up big off that $30 level and then weaseled all the way up to about 35 and change. We're above that again, so a second day continuation with good volume, especially at the open. CFLT, good day for it today. Not much else to say about that. CVS, I really lament having taken everything out there. At VWAP, I should have been holding that. You got a couple of bull flags. One at the initial release of earnings right at 6:30, spiked up, held VWAP, and then we had another bull flag kind of breakout there right at the open. So you had two moves on CVS that were parabolic. I tried to get in here. I was the weak hand. I got squeezed out, and I really lament having done that, because it made another dollar and change there. All right, Amr was asking me about KDLY. We've had multiple trades on KDLY. I personally feel the best trade on KDLY is now behind it. That could change. At the volume weighted average price, that's around 330. You could get an aggressive bounce off 330. I happen to think that we don't probably touch 5 1/4 today. That's my bias. I don't have anything to support that, but you could get a nice bounce off the touch into VWAP. So this looks like it wants to give up the ghost at around 3.5. If it does, I'd be on the lookout for that 330 hold. You also did have some price action resistance initially at 330. So it's not just VWAP. This area over here from around 10.55 to around 11.30, you could tell the closing prints were all rejecting off that 330 area. So KDLY could be a nice bounce, but keep your eye out on it and make sure you are using sound stops. XLO, I want to take the opportunity to explain why I have that pre-market high rule. Look at the pre-market high on XLO. This thing's up 106%. It was on everybody's radar if you were trading small caps, because it would have been like number 2 or 3 on your scanner. But the fact of the matter is it had 2 attempts initially at VWAP, both failed. And then it had an even bigger attempt where it broke those highs, broke above $1.50, got into 1 2/3, and it still failed VWAP. I would submit to you that the reason for that is there are bag holders who hold this from a higher level in the pre-market that will look to get out on any pop. And that's why I always insist with these small cap gappers, if you're going to trade them as a breakout trade, trade them above the pre-market high. I was caught in one last week. I forget the name of the ticker. I think I have it saved, where I kept insisting on getting in below the pre-market high, and I ended up going right on it, despite the fact that I shouldn't have been in it in the first place. So XLO, another example of why I only take the pre-market high, tickers that are trading above the pre-market high for these small cap gappers as a long. I just won't trade them otherwise, Joseph, for exactly this reason.
Yeah, just looking at here, I told you guys we'll go through some expected moves. People want to know the one on Hood, so we'll go over that. But there's a lot more names that, like, kind of that we don't usually talk about too much from a day-to-day basis that are usually pretty good. So Cisco, Trade Desk, and Dutch Bros. So I think those are interesting. But let's get on to Hood here and see what we got cooking up. We'll pull up Hood expected move, and then we'll pull up the chain and look at high levels of open interest. Okay, so Hood looking about of a 12% move, just a little bit under there for those who were asking, 11.8 to be exact on that expected move. And then let's pull up the chain here and see what we got going on for high levels of OI. Okay, so yeah, guys, let's go to those holes. So yeah, $60, 15,000. So times that by 100 if you want to equal it to a shares. 15,000 open contracts at that 60 right now. Next highest level is going to put us at that 65 strike price with only 4,000 open contracts. So 15,000 at 60. Be wary of that level, okay? So when that print comes out, watch that $60 price target. Then to the put side, Sharif, surprisingly, there's not anything close to that 60 strike. The highest on the put side would put us at that 50 strike with about 4,200 open contracts. So those are the levels that I would be keeping an eye out on, is the 50 and that $60 strike price. Let's go over one more here, guys. And I think we're going to go with the Trade Desk. I like TTD. Because we're trading on the desk here, but I don't think it has anything to do with that TTD. And see what we got. I know it does. Absolutely, it does not. Looking at 10.7% expected move here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Let's see what the options chains got going on with that for high levels of open interest. And we're going to look for those levels to be hit during the report. So the highest level we got is that $124 strike price with only 2,000 open contracts, and to the put side, 110 with about 1,000 open contracts. So that is some of the big names, their expected moves, and high levels of open interest. If you didn't get that, you can just rewind, see what we got going on, and then just analyze if you're not familiar. A lot of these guys will say, hey, we don't trade here on the desk after hours, and most definitely do not trade the opening prints, okay? That is just a recipe for disaster.
If you're newer?
Yeah, if you're newer, even if you're experienced, just trading those opening prints, wait for that volatility to phase out, and then you can base trades.
Well, the Katina Mint does it very well, right? Neil does it very well because
on earnings?
On earnings.
Yeah, like, please don't do that because you're gonna get those moves. I have a system for it, but I don't trade. I wait for 5 minutes, wait for that volatility to come out, and then it's just a simplistic orb, right? Like, it's a 5-minute orb, whether it be to the downside, but you want to wait that 5 minutes for that volatility.
I absolutely agree with that.
To wave out, yeah.
A couple of names I'll give you guys as we wind down the show that are at day's high and that are breaking out. Shout out to Pretty Panda for calling this one out. QMCO. I'm not really sure how I missed that. I think maybe because it was a little light on volume, about 2 million shares. This is the 5-minute look on QMCO. We'll flip to the 1 so you can kind of see it's a little lightly traded, but it's got a very good predictable pattern, higher highs and higher lows. It's doing the dance right now with 25 bucks, but look at that spread. Eek. That's a 30-penny spread. Adara, this might be down your alley. QMCO right here, up 40% with a wide spread. Trade it carefully. There's also this one, big. Where is it at, bro? Show yourself. Big Bear AI, that's another 5-minute look there. There's the break above the bull flag that we were talking about, that $9 area I perceive to be the break. And we're continuing to move on our merry way up into the high of the day. Right now, 950 is the high. We're printing 945s. But this is what I want to see. A 1 penny spread on a $9 name. It's up 18% and change. Good look for Big Bear AI. Does it have a headline? I don't think it really needs one, but I'll look for one anyway, just to kind of get ahead of people asking. Nothing that I see today from Big Bear AI. There is this article, why is Big Bear AI skyrocketing today or flying higher Wednesday? The company stock gained 11.6%. A technology company is leveraging artificial intelligence. Tell me something I don't know, bro. Looks like it was a JD fans maybe commenting there in Europe that America's still leading the race, yada, yada, yada. So maybe Big Bear AI getting a bit of a boost from that. In any event, whatever the reason is, it's up 17 2/3, 17 4/5 right now. So I want to give you those two guys. QMCO at day's high, Big Bear AI, a little bit off the day's high, but very close. And I want to tell you, KDLY is getting awfully close to that 3 1/3. And that 3 1/3 isn't some random number. I'm just saying, for whatever, it's that volume weighted average price. KDLY could bounce. It's already getting a bit of a bounce here off that. Where do we get to? 344. We're already back up into 360. Be careful, though. We're still putting in lower lows and lower highs. There is no change in trend right now on KDLY, despite the fact that it's up 150%. So those are the trades we're looking at. We got a couple of minutes left on the show. And then we're going to have a monster lesson for you tomorrow, Joseph. We got options. What do we got?
No, it's not options. It's a tape reading.
Right. Tape reading. My bad.
Tape reading tomorrow. So yeah, some good stuff there. We're just going to look over like just basics of the tape and then find strengths and weaknesses within it. So yeah, I think we'll have a good one on that front, Sharif. And then here's INTC. We'll just recap the trades of the day.
Great
INTC,
trade,
INTC throughout that whole session. Like your one trade there on, what was it, KBLY?
KBLY,
yeah, KBLY. And then we had NVDA. This one took us 2 stabs. Sorry for the dark pool wick there, but that one worked out for us. And then we took 1 stab on IBIT as well too, and then we missed that run, just focusing on other things. So that's it. Yeah, reading the tape. Exactly. I think that's a good one, man. It's going to be stuff. Tail of the tape. Exactly. The tail of the tape. We'll call it that. I think.
How you getting home today?
Drivey.
There's not much snow.
Katina, man, it's going to be 15 centimeters, brother.
Add it up.
I promise you.
Add it up.
Look at it.
Total. Add it. We're not going to get that till midnight? Progressive. Okay.
Man,
so
we
the
got a
snow
lot of
starts
snow
at
this
5.
year.
It was supposed to start at 3. We're supposed to be getting shellacked today with snow, but hopefully it starts a little bit later. What's that, Ram? Tomorrow evening, says Ram. Well, my phone says 5 o'clock. We're about to get 15 centimeter. The Katina man is like, no, we're not.
The real thing is what you got to do is you got to pull up the radar. Pull up the radar and look at
this guy's a meteorologist all of a sudden, bro.
No, you know what's funny? I used to be, so back in the day, I used to be able to look at the sun and tell you the time within like a 5-minute radius.
That's yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I know that people can do that. Yeah, we had nothing on the radar quite yet.
Well, you didn't even hit play.
Oh, my bad. This guy hit play on the radar.
So
where is it at?
Right here, man.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Yeah, but we're not getting any cloud coverage. There it is, right there.
There it is, right
They're
there.
showing them that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, who pulled this up there?
Well, it's the best production team around. That's who.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's all the winds and all the lovely weather that we're getting, guys. But it is now 2 o'clock. It's time to send you to the big kahunas. They're going to be trading everything under the sun.
Everything.
Small caps, large caps,
Under the
mix
sun.
7.
I like that.
It's all
Under
there.
the sun, Wednesday.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Hope everybody has a great day.
Yes, sir. Make sure we're not muted over here, which we are not. And we are back, and the market is back, and everything is to the upside. You get a hotter than expected inflation number, which these guys already went over this morning.